All right, what's up, guys? Let me do what I need to do first as we wait for it to come on. For some reason, it doesn't let me mute these streams anymore before the stream starts, so I have to actually let the stream start and mute it. And I have two computers to do it for. For some reason, my other computer, it isn't starting. There it goes. All right, sorry about that. Having a delay on my other computer. So looks like we're a lot clearer. I moved it around. Hopefully we don't have too much lag. Let me pull back up the screen. It's going to be a little different. I have my computer here, and then I have a computer here. So we are going to be trying to work a news system. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Raging Atheist. I'm your boy Nakasuchi. Jill is now in the house, raging. He was up in the chat, Modern Day Debate. What's up, Jill? So yeah, I want to talk about a couple things. Did I write that on my wall with permanent marker? It started with pencil. I'm not sure if the marker, it might have been permanent. But, you know, Jill, for about, I don't know, a couple years anyway, I was a painter. I painted houses, and it is fully within my lease to do what I do. In fact, that is going to grow to be much more. So, to the topic. I'm sure most of you have heard by now that Godless Craniums channel was demonetized, and he's been given 30 days to clean up whatever it is that YouTube wants him to clean up. And, you know, it's really scary for me because it seems like at this point he's been demonetized for making response videos, for being fully within fair use. And this is what I do. And I've been thinking about for a while, like actually for the last couple of weeks, I've had a really hard time getting the third edited video done. And it's because the editing process is, I'm sorry, I keep looking over here because I'm so used to looking at my computer and I'm trying to pay attention to the chat, and I have my camera way over here for the first time. So going to be a little different. But yeah, Godless Cranium, I didn't know. And we're going to talk a little bit about my isolationism as well, because I think it goes hand in hand, is known as Atheist on Twitter. And Atheist started commenting on my videos really early on. So like, you know, Godless Cranium has watched many of my videos and has commented on many of my videos and has supported me for a while. And I didn't even know it. What's up, Iron? What's up, Reese? I didn't even know who he was because I was so isolated in my bubble. I was just making response video after response video. And yeah, if anybody wants to come in, you guys can come in. I do want to talk about this for a while. I'm not planning on being on for 4 hours. We'll keep it to like 2 hours, and we'll talk about this at first, and we'll talk about whatever you guys want. I do have my Gmail open, so John, if you want to come in, you're more than welcome to come in. Anybody's more than welcome to come in. Lady Tasha, if you want to come in, I'll give you the first opportunity before I tell Jill he can come in. But you know, I was isolated. I pretty much had this thing in my head that, you know, that the atheist community turned sour. And it's only because I never really watched the atheist community. I only watched a few people way back in the day. And when Trump came along, a lot of those people went right. And I was just really turned off from watching anything atheist on YouTube. I still watch The Amazing Atheist every once in a while. Still watch Cult of Dusty, especially once Cult of Dusty came back to the left. but I just really didn't even know anything about the atheist community. I just didn't. And when I met Cyrus has really opened me up to this atheist world, to this debate community that's out there. In fact, you know, I just actually watched Godless Cranium, quite a few videos today, and I think it was the first time I've ever watched his channel, because like I said, I never knew who he was. But what I do is make response videos. That's what I've done since I started YouTube. And it has me really nervous to continue to do so now. Because once YouTube starts cracking down on a thing, they tend to go overboard. And as Lisa for Truth pointed out, Godless Craniums channel wasn't the only one demonetized. Christian sites have been demonetized. And I'm not really for censorship. Like, you know, I think it's a real discussion if people are inciting violence, that their channel should be taken down. But if you're not inciting violence, I don't think you should censor ideas or discussion. So I just, yeah, I'm a little worried, and I really wanted to bring it out to you guys, ask your guys' opinion. You know, and I need to get it out there too, that I've been thinking about cutting back on edited content anyways. All right, John, yep, I'll link you. I've been thinking about falling back on edited content just for the sole reason is it's taking more and more time, and I have less time. So I've been thinking about maybe 2 edited videos a week, maybe only 1 edited video a week, doing maybe more live streams. Awesome. Athena will be going live, guys. Maybe doing more live streams like this Tuesday. Big announcement. I've talked about it a little bit, but Skyler Fiction and Digital Hammurabi will be coming on the channel Tuesday evening. I always go to Gmail without actually copying the link every single time. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so they'll be coming on the channel. We're going to have a really interesting conversation about slavery and ancient aliens. It's going to be awesome. So, all right, John, I have now sent the link. So yeah, that's going to be really great. Me and Dr. Josh have been talking. He's a really awesome dude, and I feel really grateful to have really good friends and to be finding a community that not only accepts, you know, some of my crazier ideas or accepts me and will be critical of me, but mostly just I'm finding a lot of friends, you know, Cyrus and Ocean and Dr. Josh, and, you know, Skyler's, I've been watching Skyler pretty much since I met him on Cyrus's channel, and you know, his channel is great, you know, and I want to be careful because I don't want to really copy what they're doing over there either. You know, I'm not a debater, but I do like having conversations. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I don't know, it just seems like it might be time for the Raging Atheist to truly evolve. I've talked about it for quite a while. I'm not as angry really as I used to be. Maybe it's time to put away that rage and really find my humanism. But then I have to keep that edge as well, because I'm not going to change my name to the Humanist Atheist. You know, I'm the Raging Atheist. I'm Nakasuchi. I'm going to be who I am. What's up, Casey? What's up, Johnny? Blessed to have so many of you guys coming in and having this conversation. So, I mean, the question is, should I do response videos at all anymore? What's up, John?
Hey, what's up, Raging?
Oh, not too much. Just really slowly waking up. Just turned the coffee machine off. And yeah, I had a hell of a morning. We'll talk about that here in a little while too, because it was a son of a bitch of a morning for me.
Oh yeah. Hey, have you not just to ask real quick? Have you thought about what you're going to do once Google Hangouts goes away at the end of the month.
Are Google Hangouts going away?
Yeah, because they're getting rid of like a lot of the Google Plus shit.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any of that. I guess I should look into it. No, I'm not.
But just a suggestion to you: look into Zoom.
Oh yeah, and I do have Zooms, and Cirrus. I've just never really tried to work on it, but Cirrus did really talk up Zoom to me because that's what he uses for most of his stuff, and I think it's really cheap. It's like $15 a month, and you can pretty much do what you need to do. So yeah, I'm gonna be. I guess I'm gonna have to really seriously start thinking about that because I hadn't heard about the Google Hangout thing going away.
Yeah, as of April 1st.
That really sucks.
I'm glad I gave you a heads up.
Yeah, yeah. No, Tom, I haven't even looked at other platforms. Maybe I should start expanding. I mean, YouTube does seem to be going full Nazi now. It's really, I mean, to me, it just takes away from what YouTube was. Like, I started watching YouTube because I was able to watch real people say real shit, and it's like they don't want that anymore. They want to be Netflix or some shit. I don't know. Thank you, Iron Charioteer. I took a lot of heat for that. Heat that I actually agree with. That Darth Dawkins conversation. Steve from Non Sequitur Show actually messaged me about it, and he commented on the video itself as well. And we had a good conversation, and he's really hooked me up with some pointers towards DD. I was blinded with that conversation. Like he won the argument that he wanted to have. Quite clearly, I think that's. It was a little debate putting it up. Like it did make me really look kind of dumb when it comes to that subject because he hit me with something that I wasn't familiar with. But I ended up putting it up for two reasons. Basically, because you have to show your not so fine points, but also because I fucking raged on that dude, man. Like I raged on it. Like it was classic, you know. And it's something that I'm gonna have to probably stop trying to do with YouTube being Nazis.
Well, you know, I got to give you props for putting that up because, you know, you even said right in there that in the comment section, you knew where you had fucked up and gone
astray. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to claim that the laws of logic are stupid and fucked up, then you've lost the argument.
you know, a lot of people would have just buried that, you know, they wouldn't have put it out there. So props on that.
Well, thank you. For me, it's a learning experience. You know, I try to be an honest person, and I'm not going to win every debate. And I think if you run away from the ones you lose, then you're not going to learn from it. And, you know, I'm going to learn from it. And like I said, Steve sent me some links. I haven't had a chance to really check them out yet. I've been checking out Non Sequitur all night. Modern Day Debate had two really, really good debates tonight. It was really awesome. So
well, I'll tell you, I saw Steve's comment, and now the funny thing about Steve, I've been on a few hangouts with him. Like, if he's with the things he talks about, let me put the comparison this way. So if he's a college professor, I'm a kindergarten student, you know, as far as subjects he talks about. But I was about to leave a similar comment to you, and then as I'm going through them, I see Steve already hit you up on it. You know?
Yeah, well, I think Steve is really, really smart. I think he's a smart dude. He's definitely agnostic. You know, and so he probably wouldn't have like a lot of my videos no matter what, you know, because I'm definitely more, you know, people attack me for even claiming to be atheist, but like I'm definitely more anti-theist than most atheists on YouTube. So, you know, like he's definitely not going to like a lot of my comments. And the fact that he actually reached out and, you know, I mean, I thought it was really cool the way he did it. And you know, I like it.
Well, one thing about Steve, even though his position is agnostic, he considers himself part of the atheist community.
Oh yeah, and he does good work.
Well, yeah, and in that he's not going to hold your beliefs against you. You know, he's not trying to tell people to be agnostic. He wants people to, you know, be what they want to be. You know.
Yeah.
He takes the agnostic position.
I know, yeah, he would definitely probably get triggered by my arguments when I say like everybody's an atheist, even Christians, even agnostics, all agnostics are atheists. I'm sure that that's what I say. Like Steve will definitely not like some of the things I say, but the fact that he's able to overcome that and reach out to me, like, you know, I'm really small compared to those guys. And I, you know, I have been, you know, chatting with Kyle and Non Sequitur Show on Twitter, and Kyle said he's going to get me on the show, so that's going to come in the future. you know, I think that they're two really awesome dudes. I love the platform. And I think that that's something that I'm going to have to migrate towards instead of doing these response videos, because I mean, these response videos, I reached out to Cyrus this morning because I watched his channel about it, and this is how I found out about it. And he's like, dude, don't worry yet. There's no real pattern, but I am worried. And I don't, eventually I have vein disease on my leg. I can't work for that much longer. I do want to make some kind of money off of this to help me when I get to the point that I can no longer work. So I don't want to do anything that's going to demonetize my channel, hurt my channel. And I've always wanted to evolve the channel to be more than what it was, just attacking individuals and making fun of people, like I don't do that shit in real life. So to me, my response videos have always been kind of disingenuous. And I've always said that it's a character. It's not really me. And I've always maintained that, but I don't know. I think I'm getting tired of doing it anyway. Like I said, I've been having a hard time making 3 videos a week when I've never had a hard time doing that before. The hard time is actually doing it, making myself do it again. Like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
Look, man, no matter what you evolve into, please promise me at least every couple months you'll do a girl-defined response.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever get away from doing girl-defined, but like and I don't want to copy other channels, but I like how Skyler Fiction is doing live responses, and I like how Mr. Atheist does his videos with Paul and Morgan and Girl Defined when they're more live. So I just really need to figure out how to work all this technology. And my main thing here is this thing. I once I get a new computer, which will hopefully be soon, a little farther away now after what happened this morning, but hopefully soon I'm going to get the computer I want to get, and then things can really start to move in a much better direction. I'm really limited with this ancient thing I've got right here.
So what? Where's Tasha? I thought she was coming in.
I didn't see I never see where she said that she wanted to, but I often lose track of my chat.
I didn't see her. I just heard what you said. I thought
well, I wanted to offer her before I offered Jesus, just because Jesus has her blocked and she wouldn't be able to come in if she wanted to. But I mean, I don't really want to talk to Jesus tonight. I'm not trying to get pissed off tonight, and I will be on your channel. If this has to be 3:30 Jesus on Sunday, I'll make it work. It just really kind of cuts into my sleep time. So if we could do it a little earlier, that would be great. Maybe even like a half hour earlier. But you've been on my channel. I'm going to come on yours. So Sunday it will be.
Well, wait a minute. So if you start a hangout yourself, another person who comes in can have certain people blocked?
Yeah, that's something I didn't really know about either. But yeah, and I guess it's something that happens a lot with G-Man. Like G-Man will come into a hangout, and as people start pissing him off through the conversation, it happened in mine, that he can't hear nobody and nobody can hear him. And then, yeah, I guess if you're in the hangout and you have somebody blocked, then that the person you have blocked can't get into the hangout. Lady Tasha tried one night. Jesus like, oh, I don't got her blocked. And then as soon as he left, because I eventually kicked him because he had her blocked, as soon as he left, she was able to come in.
Well, I'll tell you what, when Hangouts goes away, Jill will not be able to play that game anymore.
I know Jill was saying something earlier about it's transitioning into something else, or so. I'm gonna have to look into it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I have been looking at Zoom, and Cyrus really talked up Zoom, and I like what Cyrus does on his channel. I don't see how Cyrus has the damn time to make as many edited videos as he does. I really don't. It's just phenomenal to me. Like now, like I'm working with basically 3. Well, I'm going to start working with 3 cameras when I do edited videos. But I think they're going to transition more towards like face-to-face and just different kinds of videos attacking certain points. Like I really want to read more. Like since I work 40 hours a week, and then I work maybe 30 to 40 hours a week on YouTube, and I got a little girl, and I haven't been able to read in probably 3 years. I want to read more, and I want to actually attack arguments more, but I'm never going to be able to get away from Girl Defined. Like they basically started this channel.
I forget what video it was of yours I watched recently, and you had a 2-camera setup where you switched back between the two angles, and that
Yeah,
looked really good.
I'm trying to get used to it. It's different. It's different, but I'm used to looking at one camera, and and usually when I do these live conversations, this camera over here is on top of my computer right here. So like I'm gonna have to get used to, oh, my camera's over here. Let's glance at the chat through my side of my eye and look at the camera. And then I have another computer down here in case Jill comes on and I have to do lots of citations. I want to start making sure that the conversations are accurate, including myself, but mainly for Jill, who comes on and spouts out a bunch of bullshit.
Well, is Jill in chat right now?
Yeah, he has been. Yeah, he's still there.
Well,
don't get drunk Saturday night and you should be up by 3:30. Dude, I work third shift. It's not about getting drunk. It's about I'm alive at night and I'm asleep during the day. My shift starts at 11 p.m.
When we were just leaving MD Modern Day Debates channel, and Joe was in the chat over there talking about how atheists kill babies and all this. And, I put it in chat. I don't know if he saw it in chat, but I just want to point out, since he's listening right now, that Roe v. Wade was decided by a majority conservative Supreme Court, 7-2. So it was decided by all theists. And I'd also like to point out to Jill that if only atheists had abortions, there wouldn't be as many abortions as there are. Okay, Christians have abortions too. So
yeah, and I mean, it's just a fallacy. Like, I've been meeting more and more atheists that are right wing and anti abortion lately than I want to even think about. I am learning, sadly, that atheists can be as idiotic as Christians can be when it comes to this stupid shit. Excuse me. And yeah, to paint the pro-life movement as atheist is just idiocy. It's just idiocy. The pro-life movement is a left political movement. It has nothing to do with any atheist ideology whatsoever. And I did send that link, Athena, so come on in.
Well, the thing of it is, if I lost my train of thought.
Oh, I do that often. Yeah, I'm still waking up, man. Like I woke up. The first debate was Adam Friended versus T-Jump, and I'm like zombie mode at this point, having my first cup of coffee. What's up, Athena?
Sorry about what? Okay, good. I'm like, sorry about that. I didn't check my email. You sent it, so I was like, notice me.
Yeah, no. You do pretty much have to keep putting it in the chat, because eventually I'll see it, especially when I'm like this fuzzy brained. But yeah, I was saying I woke up and the first debate was Adam Friended and T-Jump, and I turned that on immediately, and I'm drinking my first cup of coffee, and I'm like, this dude is like a Jordan Peterson Christian full out. So I just start trolling. And yeah, dude's, I guess, an atheist and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck. I need to wake up. I need to watch his video before I form an opinion of him. But I didn't like the guy based on the debate I saw today.
Oh, wait, hold on. Which guy? Sorry, I'm like...
His name is Adam Friended.
Oh, never mind. Wrong guy. I thought you meant Craig. Sorry to interrupt you, John.
I was just gonna say, no. I was just telling you that it's that Think Club dude. His channel's Think Club.
All right, yeah, I'll have to check it out, because I totally thought like this dude was a Christian talking some crazy Christian shit, and they're like, no, Raging Atheist, he's an atheist. You're straw manning him. I'm like, fuck, I am straw manning him. Let me stop.
I remember what I was gonna say. Myself personally, not to beat this dead horse of life.
I mean, that's funny, since you have a horse for Avatar.
Yeah.
By the way, 8 more minutes, I'll be coming live. Sorry.
Myself personally, like if any woman within my sphere of influence asked for my advice, I would advise her not to have an abortion.
Oh, me too, without a doubt.
Right. So I would say that I'm against abortion, but I'm for choice because a woman has to be able to choose what she's going to do with her body.
Yeah, like, and I've said that plenty. Like, I actually had a chance, a woman come to me and said that she was pregnant and wanted to have an abortion. And I'm like, hell no, don't have an abortion. And totally was about like working out whatever went wrong with us or whatever. I think in retrospect, I look back and I think she was trying to use it to like get back together. But I was totally against it. It's not that I'm for abortion, but I am for. If you just look at what was happening to women before we legalized abortion, it's a no-brainer to me. I don't want any woman forced by her usually well-standing Christian in society who has this mistress that he's impregnated, forcing her into some back alley butcher, so his community doesn't find out what an atrocious douchebag he is. I don't want that to ever happen again. And it happened too many times in our country's history for us to go back to. And for anybody to argue that we need to go back to that just doesn't understand the science behind abortion or the legality of what abortion is.
Well, right. And they think that, which it's not going to happen. But if Roe v. Wade got overturned,
well, it can now because Kentucky just pretty much banned abortion, and so it's going to go to the Supreme Court. Somebody's going to sue them. Probably plenty of organizations is going to sue. And don't quote me on this. I was told this, and I haven't researched it. I just realized I haven't actually looked this up myself. I was told this, but if it's true, then this is exactly what they've been waiting for, for a state to ban abortion so they can get sued and it can go to the Supreme Court. And now feasibly they have the votes to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Feasibly, but the thing is even ever since Roe v. Wade, there's been challenges to it. And every time it was upheld, it was a majority.
Well, I think that could be our saving grace right now, is because I do believe John Roberts every time has upheld Roe v. Wade. So, but it's, if they get one more is all it's going to take, and it's going to take years to get to the Supreme Court. So
the horrible thing about it, Raging, is that what you just talked about a few minutes ago, if it does get overturned, then it's going to go back to what you were just talking about.
Yeah,
stop abortions. They'll go.
Yeah, just because you outlaw a thing doesn't mean it's going to stop. It's just going to become just like drugs. This is the argument for legalizing all drugs: is what has the war on drugs done but create generations of drug addicts?
Well, no, hold on. Not just that. It's created a lot of money, for the prison complex where if you're busted for a gram of weed, you get 10 years. Well, being hyperbolic, but
the prison complex, the pharmaceutical complex. I mean, the pharmaceutical industry has pretty much legalized heroin use with all these drugs that they're handing. I mean, when right-wing crazy people talk about the pharmaceutical industry, I'm like, I'm with you. And then they start talking crazier shit. And I'm like, oh, you lost me. Like, it's just crazy what they're doing. Like, all these opioids out there. I mean, it's just insane. I'm gonna show that Jesus is Lord. I didn't read it. I'm gonna show it anyway. I'm sure.
By the way, in like 4 minutes, I'll be going live. I don't know if you want to end this and come on my show, on my channel.
I might in a little while. How long will you be live?
Whenever, I don't know. I mean, I'll probably be live for an hour or two. I don't know. I'm an insomniac. Yeah. I'm gonna try not to stay up all night tonight. But yeah, I might end this here in a little bit and come over to your channel. Okay, let me give you the link. Hang on.
Put it in live, or no, you can't do that.
I mean, I can put the watch link.
I'm sure I can find it, and I can email you whenever I finish up here. I never really know how long these things are gonna go.
What's your full channel name, Athena?
Athena, Goddess of Wisdom and Warfare. Here, I just posted it on the side.
I'm fairly certain I'm subbed to you. In fact, I know I am.
Yeah.
You put it in the live chat.
Well, and on the side too. I don't know if you're on mobile.
Yeah, I'm on mobile.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll try to make it over there. If I don't, tell me next time you're going live, and I'll definitely come on.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll
Tomorrow, Athena, I'm gonna have the Messenger reveals on for a one-on-one. Check that shit out. Should be good. And maybe something special tomorrow night. I'm still waiting for an email.
I sent you a message. I sent you a message when you were on Modern Day Debate asking you if you were going to have Messenger on tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have him on tomorrow, 5 p.m.
Because me and him, we went back and forth in a chat of one of your videos.
Okay,
yeah, Athena, we'll see you later, and I'll try to get over there tonight.
Yeah, okay, bye.
All right, man. All right, bye. Yeah, I still haven't seen those comments, and you told me about them. Yeah, Messenger Reveals seems like an interesting guy. I haven't checked out too much of his work. He did send me some links that I'm trying to research before I go into the conversation with him tomorrow. But he seems like an interesting guy. I think he thinks he's going to be able to convert me to Christianity, and he's not going to be able to, but it's going to be an interesting conversation.
Oh, well, but wait a minute. He claims he's not a Christian.
Yeah, well, he thinks that if he can convince me of the supernatural, and he's a Christian, but not it's really intriguing. I'm really intrigued by him.
Well, go check our conversation out in your chat, because that's one thing I was calling him out on. You know, he's an acolyte of Christ, but claims not to be a Christian, which
it's kind of weird. I want to explore that. I want to see, and you know, I just didn't really get a chance to talk to him too much in that conversation. So I really want to explore that. And I'm interested in having decent conversations with Christians or any theist. Like, I'm working on getting a Muslim on to talk, and maybe talk some Muhammad pedophilia. I think that'll be interesting, but we'll see if that works out.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, Messenger certainly has good communication skills. He can certainly talk reasonable, but a lot of his ideas are just off kilter. I mean, you know, one thing he said in that conversation we were having, he made the statement, truth is not always accurate. The truth is not always accurate. And that's sheer nonsense. The truth by definition is accurate, or it's not the truth. I mean,
I'm sure we'll have some disagreements. I do need to go check out. So I'm behind on my comment. Like, man, it's been so hard to do the live conversations and integrate it with edited video. Like, yeah, I've got to find some kind of better balance, because I just don't have time to look at the things I want to look at. Hardly any time to research anything anymore. It's absolutely insane. Just I need 40-hour days, not 24-hour days. I would be quite happy. You know, I would be quite happy. Yeah. He sent me that time about the double slit experiment, and that's the thing that I really got to watch before our conversation. But the problem is, like, I had a clusterfuck of a morning. So for like a week now, I've known that my car sounds louder. I'm like, fuck. And I've just spent a ton of money on my car. I've talked about it a lot. So it's getting louder. And I'm like, just make it through the week and I will take you to the shop as soon as I wake up Friday night. We will get your exhaust fixed, because I knew it was the exhaust. It's just getting louder and louder and louder. Friday, I'm there. I make it, and I get half a mile down the road from my work, and the whole muffler just falls off. It just fell the fuck off.
Were you just talking to Tom 34B?
Yeah. He talking about the double slit experiment.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he had he started a thread in that same comment section that Messenger was they were going back and forth, and then I popped in there too, and Messenger was trying to claim that the double slit experiment could be defined as supernatural, the results of it, and so he's trying to argue that the unexplained, if something is unexplained, then it by definition is supernatural. And I was trying to tell him, no, that's not the case. I mean, Not just because something's unexplained, that does not prove that it's supernatural. It just means it's as yet unexplained.
Yeah, and that goes to the whole argument of how life got on the planet to begin with. You know, just because it happened doesn't mean it was some supernatural event. You know, yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm gonna have to really look at this thing. He sent me the links about it, and I just haven't had a chance to even think about watching them yet. I did watch a couple of his Lawnmower Steve videos though, and that shit was hilarious.
What's that?
It was a guy he was talking about in that same conversation. This guy gets really drunk and he rides down the street on his fucking lawnmower, and he's been arrested numerous times. One time it wasn't a lawnmower, it was some kind of a work I can't think about the name right now, but it was like an extension ladder, an electrical extension ladder. I mean, it was just fucking hilarious. I mean, he often gets tased or pepper sprayed. It was funny. Like it was hard to watch him get fucking tased. But as soon as he's done screaming from the tase and they take the shit out of him, they start arresting him. He just goes crazy. He starts resisting arrest again. It's hilarious. Some redneck dude down south getting drunk driving his tractor.
And does he have his own channel? He puts these up, or other people put them?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like the videos that I watched, because I went straight from the links from the email. It did have like a little lawnmower icon guy down in the corner, so I'm assuming that it was his channel. So he's quite proud of all of his DUI arrests. People call me a drunk. I don't drink and drive.
Well, that's a good.
What's up? Utah Outcasts is in the house. What's up, man? I am new to their channel, and I absolutely love their channel. I think their channel is awesome.
Oh, bring him in.
Yeah, man. If you want to come in, I'd love to talk to you. I'm assuming it's X, because I'm pretty sure that's his channel. What's up, Utah Outcast, man? I'm digging their work, man. I've been there's something that I've been watching every single day.
I can't remember what's the girl's name that's on that channel.
Oh, Felicia, I think it's Kyle and Felicia, I believe.
Yeah, get Felicia in here.
I think they're all interesting. I mean, I'm fascinated by Utah. I think Utah is insane. I'm like so glad I live in Michigan, where we. Sweet, yeah. How would I get a hold of Utah Outcasts? Probably on Twitter, maybe. Oh yeah, sorry, Athena.
Don't forget to take the link with you.
Yeah, I've got it copied now, so I should be okay. So there you are. I sent the link to you on Twitter. Oh, this is awesome. Sweet. Man, I noticed that they came in my comment section when I was doing my live show, and they were about to go, he was about to go live, and he's like, I can hang the Raging Atheist. I'm like, dude, I love you. And this, he does a lot of work on Matt Powell, so I'm surprised that I didn't know about him before.
Matt Powell. Thanks for that bad taste in my mouth.
I think I've been blacklisted by them, because I haven't even been able to get Guzman back on, and we had a really good conversation. I think I've been blacklisted. Don't talk to the Raging Atheist. He's gonna make us all look bad. Yeah, but not anymore, because I'm probably not gonna do those response videos anymore. I'm scared.
Yeah, I don't understand their algorithm. It's all over the place. It doesn't even make sense.
I mean, I don't understand having a rule about fair use and then totally punishing somebody for using that rule. I've never even given props to the original creator. Like I never say, this is the property of Girl Defined. I just do my thing. I've never worried about it. Like the only copyright strikes I've ever really gotten have been for music that I've used in the background.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if you put the credit for it, like in your on the video description, that probably wouldn't have an effect. The algorithm probably doesn't even take that into consideration. But that, yeah, a lot of what they're demonetizing falls under fair use, so it's not making any sense to me at all.
Yeah, and like I said, like from what I watched of Godless Craniums channel, I put out far worse shit.
Yeah, I've probably seen every Godless Cranium video for 6 or 8 months, and I can't think of one thing.
Yeah, like I have put out some shit where I'm just straight talking smack, you know, like I know, like in the editing process, like it's a risk to put this video up, and a lot of videos, like I've been honest about this from the get. What's up, X?
Hey, what's up, man? Let me I gotta route the audio. Give me a sec.
Oh yeah, no problem. But like I was saying, I even know, like in a lot of my videos, like I don't even air them because I'm like, I just go too far. You know? Like my first Molina Suciata video, I'm like, I cannot put this shit on YouTube. There's no way. Yeah, I'm gonna be called all sorts of shit.
Look at that sweet Avengers shirt X has on.
Oh, I'm so excited for the new one.
Did you see Captain Marvel yet, X?
Yeah, it was a good movie, man. I really liked it.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, you saw it too, huh?
Yeah, we went opening day. You know, it's my daughter's new favorite.
Oh no, it's showing my real name. Oh God, I can't have that.
How do you say that?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
No, I mean, if you think about it, think about the holiday.
Oh.
Ah, there you go.
And I'm like thinking of like Xander or something like that.
No. So were you a former Mormon?
Mormon? Nah, man, I was a Southern Baptist.
Oh, so was I. Man, how does it, like, is Utah as insane as I think it is with the Mormons?
Utah's not too bad, man. It's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. Let me see if I can find out if I can change my account name here so that people don't find out who this guy really is.
Yeah. Matt Powell called out my real name several times. Now he's got everybody doing it.
There we go.
Well, and all them, you know, like what's his name, Red Pill Religion. He gets all. I mean, his name is everywhere. And he was in a debate, and his real name was right under his head on the screen. And somebody called him by it, and then he got all pissed off and don't use that name, you know. It's like, it's under your face, dude. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Don't think I could change it around too much. Fuck it. Oh well.
So, X, when did you first start interacting with Matt Powell? Like, how long ago was it?
I'd probably be able to look it up or something, but it's just I just caught on to after like the guys from not Raging It, that's you. The guys from Puzzle and a Thunderstorm started giving him a hard time about his whole gamers and
all right, yeah, that was around the time that I first found out about him.
And his was also like all the gays deserve to be genocided nicely kind of thing. And I'm like, man, come on.
Oh yeah, I called him on that. He doesn't like to show that part of our conversation. Yeah, like when I met Matt, it's a really funny story because I was literally watching Essence of Thought's video on Matt Powell. Yeah. When Matt Powell started to troll one of my videos, I can't even remember the name of the video, but he just started calling me retrobait and you're this, you're that, and I'm like, and then like 2 weeks later, after I called him out, I made a video calling him out, and he accepted my challenge. 2 weeks later, he's like, "Well, that wasn't even me. Somebody hacked my account." And I'm like, "Dude, it was the same account you're talking to me from right now." You know, like it's the same account. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a piece of work. And after he left that last little nasty comment on my he was talking about going out and going soul winning and stuff, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go canvas neighborhoods," and I'm like, "No, that's okay."
Yeah, that's their new thing now. Guzman talks about it.
It's like I've got the fact that I've got a no soliciting sign on my door means a lot to me, and so he got really pissed off about that, and he called Kyle and I a bunch of faggots and stuff, and I'm just like, "Oh right, well there's the real Matt Powell, thank you."
Yes, yeah, he often, and like I said, I think I've been blacklisted because he hasn't even been in my comment section, because usually he'll be in this chat, dropping that word or dropping, the homos this and the homos that. And I'm like, Matt, don't use that. I never had moderators until Matt Powell and Guzman would come in my chats just talking that nonstop, just nonstop. So I'm like, I got to have moderators. Don't let them do that shit.
Iron Charioteer says, X, did Matt Powell invite you ever on a date? No, he did not. He'd be cheap. He wouldn't take me to like miniature golf or something like that. He wouldn't want to. I don't know. What would be a Matt Powell first date?
He wanted me to go bowling with him.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know your age range, so I don't know how old you are, but
I'm 41.
You're 41? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm 39. So if somebody invited me to go bowling, I'd be like, no, there's a bar right over there.
Yeah.
Or there's a restaurant over here. We can go get a steak or something and talk about stuff. But bowling?
Yeah. I mean, it just totally blew me away. I was going live in 15 minutes and he calls me out of the blue and I don't answer. And he leaves me this voicemail saying, hey, man, yeah, me and a couple of my older friends just really want to go bowling with you. It'll be on our dime. And I'm like, I'm not going to go on a date with you, Matt Powell. I'm just not going to do it. It was hilarious. He can't deny it because I still got the voicemail.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that he seems to forget that the internet never forgets.
Yeah. He's a piece of work.
So what's it like out there in where the fuck are you? You're in Michigan, aren't you?
Yeah, Michigan. It's a lot better now that we legalize weed.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to worry about that shit no more. Which I had my card anyway, so I didn't have to worry about it for a while. But it's nice. It's nice. I like it. I hate the winters. I'm sure your Utah winters are probably worse, I would imagine.
No, dude, Utah winters are mild.
Really?
It's only till like it's to be like January or something like that when it gets into single digits and stuff. But
that seems to be how it is here now. Like it used to be really, really bad. Like I remember
global warming, man.
Yeah, I remember digging tunnels to get out your door, and now it's like maybe January we'll see some snow.
Yeah, we haven't had like really big like snowstorms like feet deep worth of snow in ages, man. It's been like 20 years since we had like the ones where you can actually make like the trenches along the sidewalk,
Yeah. We used to do that shit. We used to. I remember there used to be stories every single year. You would hear like at least 4 or 5 different people would fall into a snowbank and die. And now there's no snowbanks. There's no 20, 30 feet high snowbanks like there used to be back in the day. It's insane. But I've been checking out your videos, and I'm interested in what you guys have been saying about the Mormons directly involved with the state legislature and all that stuff. Do they have like a huge sway in your state legislature?
Well, let's put it this way. I just got done talking with the Left of the Valley podcast. I was guesting there. It's the only reason I'm able to do this shit tonight. But we were talking about how the makeup of the state is about, it's a little bit of a majority of Mormons. Like it's only like 50-something%. And that's if you believe the numbers that they give you. And Mormon church is not going to give you accurate numbers because they count the people that don't go to church with them anymore.
Oh yeah, and then a lot of them are leaving the church from
and unless you actually either get excommunicated or send in your resignation to the church, like they won't take you off the roll, so they'll count you as a member for life, kind of thing.
Yeah, but, see, I don't understand Mormonism too much. I did date a Mormon girl one time.
It's just weird Christianity is all.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, that's what I've got from it. Like they think that Jesus came here and talked to the Native Americans.
Yeah. Okay. So Jesus, the God of the planet is Elohim, is who they call him.
Yeah.
That not realizing that's the like Hebrew word for a god. They give him the name of Elohim, and they believe that this was a man in a previous life somewhere that through following the ways of the whatever the hell that is that they want to believe, the plan of salvation, he was given control of his own universe to populate the planet of this planet with his spiritual wife. And so all of us here are God's children, including Lucifer and Jesus. They were his kids. And
yeah, do they really believe in like the magic underwear?
Yeah, I've heard stories of like if you're wearing it, Yeah, they call them garments, is what they call them.
That's insane to me, man.
And they've got weird, like little, like Masonic symbols, like on the breast pieces, like we're over each nipple, and then like on each leg piece, like for the guys and for the girls and stuff. So, yeah, it's weird as shit. But anyway, the state legislature is 90-something% Mormon, even though they only make up about half of the state. So this state is hardcore Republican, and unfortunately, you're going to find every single one of them is a member of the church. And so even though they may not have a huge lobbying firm behind them to run the stuff in the state, they are able to apply pressure outside of government, like at the church and stuff. So they're like, well, we're going to need you to not vote on this, or, that's not a good way to live your life. And if you don't like the way that we're saying there, we're going to take away your card, that kind of thing. So,
yeah, real quick, knock. Do you see Jesus is Lord in chat calling me out?
I try to ignore Joe as much as I can because he triggers me.
He's telling me to come on Sunday at 3:30 too.
Oh, come on with me, man. We'll destroy him together.
And the other thing I want to say, you knock. Hey, I think Ann was hoping you'd shout her out live, man.
Yeah. What's up, Ann Kennedy? I had a really bad day too. So I hear you on that. I was going to do it once I found a moment. It'll get better, girl, because it's going to get better for me. I'll have my car hopefully by Monday.
I think you got some fangirls there, Knock.
We're growing slowly. And ladies, I am quite single. I'll never get married though.
So I want to see what X thinks of this. So this Jill and Chet, he's arguing with a bunch of people that are trying to tell him that abortion is in the Bible, and he says it didn't happen.
It's in there. I mean, they made a strong drink that would cause you to. I could Google it right now. Let's see.
Well, not only that, but God ordered that an entire nation's pregnant women's bellies be ripped open. That's forced abortion right there.
Let's see. Exodus: a pregnant woman who is injured and aborts the fetus warrants financial compensation, and other numbers. There's a whole, there's a lot of it in here. Biblical atrocities, theological questions, anti-abortion antilogies, a Holocaust. So FFRF has a gigantic section on this. So guess what? You're fucking wrong.
Yeah. So, as usual, Jill, you're wrong about everything. This is from the same person that claims that chattel slavery isn't in the Bible and it's all indentured servitude and what? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's okay to beat your slave as long as they get up after the third day,
Yeah. And my argument to all of these people is like, so you would do it, right? And they're like, oh yeah, I would do it. I'm like, you would totally not do that, you stupid asshole. Like, there's no fucking way you would do that shit.
Yeah, here's the 2 Kings where it says King Menahem of Israel destroyed Tipsah, or whatever the fuck it says there, in the surrounding towns, killing all residents and ripping open pregnant women with the sword. So Isaiah prophesies doom for Babylon, including the murder of unborn children. They will have no pity on the fruit of the womb, it says there. Isn't that an underwear brand? Yeah, my bad.
And how about this one?
It was my competition.
I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, God aborted every baby in the world when he flooded the earth.
Well,
yeah, that too. Yeah.
I mean, Jill's argument, though, is going to be, and this is something that he's told me, is that we all need to take certain classes to be able to read the Bible and understand it accurately. Because we, as atheists, are incapable of understanding the Bible accurately for some Jill reason.
I was a Christian.
Me too.
I was a Christian.
Yeah.
Me too.
I was yeah.
I was a Southern Baptist as well. Hey, Wajida, if you want to come on in here, man. I don't know if you're at home or not, but come on in and draw a picture.
Well, the other thing that Jill does and other Christians do is they read the Bible like they're at a buffet. Well, I'll take this verse here, but I'm going to ignore that verse.
Oh, yeah. Nothing pisses me off more than cafeteria Christians.
Yeah, I love it when I can get him because, I got G-Man. Like, he asked me several times. He must not have been able to understand the question.
G-Man?
Yeah. It was a wild night. I actually was having a conversation with Brett Keane, and Brett Keane brought G-Man in. Yeah, he brought G-Man in, and now me and Brett Keane are not speaking anymore again. It's drama with Brett Keane. Who could have figured? But yeah, so G-Man came in and I'm like, he kept asking me, have you ever even read the Bible? And I'm like, I've read it 9 times, beginning to end, how you're supposed to read a book, you know, and he just he couldn't grasp the fact that I had actually read the Bible. Yeah, neither can Jill. None of them can.
I go after a couple of like Paul and Morgan videos, and they're like, this is how you should read a Bible. You need to have a study guide with your Bible. I'm like, that's a shitty book if you have to have a study guide to read along with it, you know?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a book that a perfect being would create.
No, you kidding me? And let's get onto the topic of the fact that, you know, us as a creation, we're supposed to be in the image of God. We're a very poorly created being.
Oh yeah, my newest Girl Defined video was they were saying that we are all handcrafted by God. And I'm like, well, that's a pretty fucking shitty God if you think about all the kids with severe cleft palates, or, you know, I knew a girl, a little baby girl. She was my daughter's mom's niece, who was born with her intestines literally hanging out. Yeah. You know, I'm like, I mean, if what you're saying is true, then God is the biggest douchebag in the universe. I mean, no, hell no. Like, I have to reject this. I have to. Your girls are just being stupid at this point. But alas, the days of response videos are, I think, over.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, it's been the conundrum. Like, since I've learned about what's going on, and Cyrus, you know, I reached out to Cyrus, and he's like, dude, there's no pattern here. Don't flip out yet. And I'm like, but man, that's what I do, is I make the worst response videos that I can make. Like, I walk a very fine line. If they're gonna go after anybody, they're coming after me.
Here's the big question: do you have a Patreon?
Not yet, no.
Get on that.
Yeah, I got to start branching out. It looks like definitely. But see, my thing was I never really wanted to make money from it. But now,
yeah, it ain't got shit to do with making money. It's got to do with breaking even. People don't realize that when you go in to do this shit, it costs money.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just spent a grip on a new camera. I'm not even gonna say how much I spent on a new camera. It's not funny. I should, especially now with my muffler falling off my car this morning. Shit, man, this is gonna cost me more. Fuck. My dad, I love my dad, but my dad actually said when I started having all this car trouble, because I literally bought the biggest piece of shit that looks really good that you could buy.
What'd you get?
It's a Ford Taurus that is just falling apart. I mean, in the last 5 months, my brakes have went out twice. Completely.
How new you talking about?
It's a 2007. It's older, but it was supposed to be like.
Did you get the show or no?
Renovated. Say what?
Did you get the show or no?
No. Just bought. Basically, it was supposed to be a good car that's gonna last me for a few years, and a lot of work supposedly done to it, and I've had it for a year now, and my brakes went out.
What the fuck I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't.
I don't get a chance to talk about it on the channel that often, but I'm a serious fucking gearhead, so I love talking stuff like that.
I grew up with a gearhead, and I wish I could. Like, I never got into cars as a kid. I was always the guy reading Lord of the Rings while my brother was out.
Here's the thing: I was a video game player, and I fucking hated like working on my own car until I got to an age where I saw the fun in it. You know, being able to work on stuff.
Well, now I want to learn. You know, like now I'm like, every time my car breaks down, like I'm trying to, all right, how do I do this myself?
Yeah.
I can't do it myself because like literally the brakes went out, and then the starter went out, and then the alternator went out, and then the battery went out, and now my muffler fell off. It has literally been shit. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Wujita? This is my friend Wujita.
Evening.
I got my hair braided. I feel weird.
Yeah, your beautiful fro is gone. Your beautiful fro is gone.
Yeah, that was the first thing I was going to ask him. What happened to that awesome fro you were rocking the other night?
Shit, that's a lot of maintenance, man.
Yeah. He's young. He cares about such things.
Well, no, if I let this grow back in the day, if I let this grow out the way it should be, I had to use a pit comb all the fucking time because it's like thick, wiry, curly, super curly hair. I mean, nowhere near as much as I had to get it like braided like you got there, but damn.
Yeah, I had thick hair, but nothing like that.
I had that fro for almost a year. It feels weird to be back to braids. I've had this a while.
So yeah, young Wujita here is really familiar with Jill at this point.
Yeah, he is a cancer in my life.
Have you dealt with Jill on your channel, X?
Nah, man. We're pretty insular on the Utah Outcast channel. We don't do a whole lot of interviews. We don't do a whole lot of
well, I'm sorry.
Appearances on other things. I mean, if they want to come over and start griefing us, I'll just ban them outright. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, because he'll come over and start trolling you now, probably.
Cool. Leave me a good one, and I'll make a video out of you, and then I'll kick you off forever. So have fun with that.
I met Jill on Skyler Fiction's channel, just in the chat, and Wujid, I think you might have some background on. It happens to all of us. Yeah, I was just trolling Jill back in the chat in Skyler Fiction's channel, and then he came on for a conversation, and it's been love ever since. Man, I'm. This is awesome having you here, dude. You say you brew your own beer. You do it at your house, or you work for a brewery?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I just make it at home. I got a big ass carboy over here. No, I work for shit. I work for IT stuff. It's boring as fuck, but you know.
Yeah, I work for a brewery. When it's. I wish I could. Now that I have you on Twitter, I'll message you and see if you can actually get our beer out where you live.
What is it?
Oh,
well, just send it on Twitter. I don't.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, no, it's with. I wouldn't be worried about it if it wasn't for Matt Powell. You know, Matt Powell will. I mean, they'd have it blasted everywhere. Go get, because they call me Ronnie because they refuse to call me by my Native American name, which I hate.
I gotta tell you, it's to the point now where every time I hear that motherfucker's name, I get triggered. Like I get a physical response when I hear his name. He just disgusts me.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure we have the new IFB here now in Michigan. They recently started trolling my channel. I'm fairly certain. I tried to correct Cyrus when Cyrus was talking about him on Non Sequitur.
No, he's there in your state, man. I know where he is.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, he's definitely here. But Cyrus was saying he's old IFB, and I'm like, no, Cyrus. Like Matt has told me twice that he follows Anderson hardcore. Yeah, he's definitely new IFB. So yeah, I just don't think Cyrus quite understood that. Like, nope, they're here, and I'm pretty sure he's just started the official NIFB chapter here in Michigan because they're trolling me now. And I'm like, "Are you Matt Powell?" And they're like, "No, we're not Matt Powell." And I'm like, "You're Matt Powell."
What is that?
Oh no, he caught a part of my first name.
Stand for?
Yeah.
What's that acronym stand for? NIFB.
The New Independent Fundamentalist Baptist. See, the old IFB are the old independent fundamentalist Baptists. They weren't hateful enough for Steven Anderson. You know, Steven Anderson had to take it to the next level. So now there's the new IFB, and they follow him around like he's a god. Like that's another thing that people aren't understanding is Anderson is the messiah of this cult. Like what he says goes. It's kind of disgusting. And I think since I started attacking Anderson, now I'm being blacklisted because Matt Powell doesn't talk to me no more. Guzman isn't in. You guys remember, Guzman would be in every single one of my chats. He hasn't been here.
Well,
and we had a good conversation.
That's the same organization that Matt Powell, the same church Matt Powell belongs to?
Well, yeah. And if you've been on Matt's channel lately, he's been calling out like Baptist here in Michigan.
Yeah, he's been calling out like the Hebrew Roots organization and stuff,
and so yeah, he's really like drawing the lines in the sand of the Baptist Church here in Michigan. Thankfully, that's north of where I live. We don't have to deal with that shit here.
You're not a Euchre, are you?
Oh yeah, no.
Okay, all right.
So you got Matt Powell who thinks all homosexuals should be murdered by the state. And Steven Anderson, who thinks that a husband can't rape his wife.
Oh yeah. And Anderson thinks that homosexuals should be murdered by the state as well.
Yeah, we had to remind some people in the state legislature that if your wife is not consenting, that is rape. You know, that happens out here too. So,
and I don't even get how you can justify that it's not rape. Like, no, if she says no, it's no, dude.
Yeah. Instead of getting all crazy ass like fundamental about it and be like, that's my pussy, that's God's, you know. It's just like no.
Do what normal people do. Go to the bathroom, wank one out, and try again tomorrow.
Indeed.
What the hell? It's not that hard of a, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. I took a lot of shit because in the modern day debate earlier, I was calling out Adam Friendly as, how Jordan Peterson is like pretty much the the father figure for all incels or something like that. And I was taking a lot of shit. I'm like, what is wrong with that? Have you ever even listened to Jordan Peterson talk about women? Like, what is wrong with that statement?
Well, see, the problem here is that you haven't listened to his entire breadth of his work. You haven't read every single one of his papers and books that he's written out there. You just don't. You're taking him out of context with everything that he says and does.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I get told. Yeah.
Yep.
And I will admit, I don't want to read all of that dude's shit.
It's like, boring, man.
Yeah, it's
far
crazy
be it from
boring.
us to judge Jordan Peterson by the words that come out of his mouth. You know?
Yeah.
Just don't understand the metaphysical substrates. Come on.
Well, what I don't understand is how all these dudes can't get pussy. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And if you can't, then stop bitching about it.
Jordan Peterson thinks that they should be given pussy by state mandate.
Yeah, I saw that shit with. I mean, he just disgusts me, man. I can't stand the guy.
Or
Jake, Hugo and Jake do a good takedown of his 12 rules that he has.
I'll have to check that out.
A less retarded option would be to teach people how to not be incels when they're
and let's not use ableist language, man. Let's not do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna be a stickler on that one. I had to learn how to stop using that one too.
Yeah, I gotta get better. And I agree. Like, we should be just teaching people how to treat people at a young age. That's what I try to do with my daughter. You know, just be good to people. Well, it doesn't matter who they are. You know.
Yeah, this world's fucking hard enough as it is, man. Everybody gets dealt a bad hand. You know, it's just.
And I think that's why I never really do videos on incels or flat earthers or nothing like that. Because deep down, I try to be a humanist. I do try to understand, like, you know, what thought patterns get you there. And I understand a lot of the things that Peterson and not Peterson, just Peterson, but
I can understand where a lot of these guys are coming from, because I did the whole "I'm a nice guy, how come girls don't like me" thing.
So did I. Yeah. And I could totally agree. You know, I can get it. What I don't understand is becoming so frustrated that, you know, you're accepting of rape culture and portraying violence. That's where
Casey's got a good point in the chat there. It says, if you talk horribly about women consistently, why would they want to get with you?
Yeah. And that's my thing. Like, you know, and just if you just stop saying the things you said, you probably wouldn't have the problems you're having. Well, you'd meet somebody, dog. You would, you know, like. But I think that's why I try not to deal with it too much, because I do get triggered and I'll end up saying things that I probably don't really mean.
So with a lot of the incels out there, people need to understand that being nice and buying stuff for somebody does not entitle you to sex.
Yeah, it's.
There's no point system. There's no way of, you know, doing this, doing that, and, you know, getting the right combination, and all of a sudden the box unlocks, and then there you go, you get to have sex, kind of thing.
Yeah, like, I can't tell you, like, and not even just incels, but like dudes that I just know that are regular dudes that have no problem, you know, going on dates or meeting women, but they'll tell me, like, oh, she smiled at me, that means she likes me. No, dude, she smiled at you. She's being nice.
Yep.
You know, like, you know, wait for her to actually do something that shows you that she likes you before you jump to all these. Just because somebody smiles at you, you know,
mean they want to fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't. You know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like, hey, dude, guess what? The mailman smiled at you earlier today too. So.
Yeah, well, and then, you know, homophobic people will be like, well, that gay guy smiled at me. Obviously, he wants to fuck me. No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. He smiled, and he might not have even been smiling at you. He might have been thinking something in his head, and he smiled, and he was inadvertently looking at you. You don't fucking know.
Hey, I don't know if it's going out live or if I'm just hearing it, but there's a reverb or an echo going on.
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
Yeah, I get it.
Listening without headphones is what it is.
It's Wujita. I think you might have some reverb going on.
Yeah, I don't have my normal setup right now. I'm not home.
You do have headphones on. Do you have the background playing?
There's a bird in the background being a pain, rattling the cage.
Or, like, do you have the channel muted?
What do you mean, the
broadcast? Yeah.
No, I don't have it playing because I'm on my phone.
Oh yeah, so it's just in there. All right. Yeah, man. I hardly ever talk about this stuff on my channel.
You branch out, man. Don't worry about reaction videos. Do shit like that.
Well, and I'm gonna have to get away from these reaction videos. And I want to be more sophisticated in my argument, and I always want to come from a point of empathy. So that's the one thing. Like, even when I'm joking around, I want people to understand that I do try to understand where they're coming from. It's just really hard when you start talking about crazy shit. Like, even with the flat Earth people.
Some people don't get the empathy. I'm sorry, they don't get the milk of human kindness when it comes to some of their ideas.
No, like even with Matt Powell, like I've tried to be empathetic with him. Like, all right, so he was raised into this shit. Like, you know, I try to, you know, it's like I make excuses for his behavior sometimes. Like I'm trying to be so empathetic with the kid. So, and I wish more people were like that, but then I think sometimes also it's a weakness of mine. Like maybe I should just be hardcore and be like, no, rape is bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, Raging, Kyle and Steve tried to treat him decently, and Matt played them. You know, I mean,
that wasn't even real. I didn't realize he even went on non sequitur.
See, and that's the thing that Kyle and Steve aren't doing though. It's like they're not really challenging the people that come on their channel.
Yeah, they're more moderating.
Well, and that's sometimes, but that's what the whole thing with Godless Iowan. One of my best friends I got on Twitter and on YouTube out here right now is that he's catching a whole raft of shit from these guys about this, and he's like, "No, you guys platformed 2 white supremacists, and you didn't even fucking challenge them on stuff." And it's like, and especially after the whole thing that happened in Christchurch this weekend, are you going to tell me that it's okay to have these people let their ideas get out there in public? Fuck that, man. These people need to be relegated to the fucking dregs of society.
I love the non sequitur show, but I was in the chat when they were talking about it the next night as well, and I was in the chat when they had douchebag on, saying like, you guys totally got the wrong guy to debate this guy. Like, you really needed to have some sanity if you're gonna do this.
I'm all good with people having debates on stuff.
Yeah,
as long as they have somebody that can counter that shit. Like,
and yeah, I do really like the Godless Iowan too. So like, I'm like caught in the middle of, because I see it from both sides. Like, you do want to, I do find merit like pointing at hatred and saying that's hatred, but then you need to do it right. So I was totally on Ocean's side in that argument the next day, and they did kind of dismiss Ocean when he was saying like, the problem isn't that you had JF on, the problem is who you had JF talking to. And I'm like, that's where I'm on board with that argument. And I really hate that Godless Iowan is taking shit for it, because I think that people should be able to.
Yeah, G.I. is a great fucking dude, man. Him and Mrs. Snarky are 2 of the best people I fucking know on the internet right now. So
yeah, I think he's an awesome guy. I think he's awesome.
10 minutes of that hadn't gone by, and I realized that they had the wrong person going against.
Me too. Me too. Like, as soon as I'm like, man, I wish like let somebody on, like anybody on it to combat what this dude is saying.
Well, shit, we were on Utah Outcasts gonna have Matt Powell on. We were gonna have it happen. Yeah. But then we started talking and having our own powwow like in the background and stuff, and start talking about shit. And they were like, you know what? If we have this guy on, he's currently not at the same level as we are. Mm-hmm. Only thing that having him on our show would do is boost him up. It's not going to do anything. We're just going to be beating our head against the wall. He's not going to give us any answers. He's not going to talk to us about the stuff we want to talk about. He's going to only talk about the stuff that he wants to talk about. And I'm sad that you tried to do this in real life when you came on to went into his fucking movie, quote unquote movie that he did.
Yeah.
Where he quote mined you on some shit, where he took stuff out of context, and
yeah. And he can't understand why I'm angry about it, you know. But like, I knew walking into that movie that it was going to happen. I told him all set going into it, like, dude, I know you're about to butcher everything that I'm about to say, but I had my own agenda. And like you said, I think that if I was in your position at the time, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I was a very small, like my channel, because of Matt Powell, has blown up, and because he did exactly what I thought he was going to do, and I was able to show, all right, you know, this is Matt Powell. He's going to claim to be this honest Christian guy, but here's the truth. You know,
it's all power dynamics when it comes to, you know, quote unquote fame, to use the term I could think of there. It's like, okay, but, and also there was another reason we didn't have him on, is because a lot of our community, a lot of the people that come to the show, they are members of the LGBT community. All 3 of us on the show have expressed in some form or another that we're somewhere on the queer spectrum. Kyle and Felicia are plain to say that they're bisexual. I'm just pan because I still don't know what the fuck I like, you know. But I know it's not the standard, you know, plus and minus. You know, there's a little bit more to life. There's a little bit more zest to humanity than just, you know, this goes there. I mean, that's easy to figure out. But and if we had him on the show, it would be him talking to our audience who has to live with that shit all the fucking time, day in, day out. Those kind of people. And having him come to our platform and talk the shit that he was going to talk, it'd be like, yeah, this was not worth our time at all. Not even, Iron Cherry Tear says, X, have you ever debated anyone on your channel? We did have a Mormon on one time, and I had another one on another time but we didn't debate because debate's not our format. It's never going to be the format for Utah Outcasts because we're an entertainment channel. We're not a fucking debate channel. We're not a big ideas channel. We're just a 3 friends hooking up on the weekend to have a good time talking with each other. So
and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. I don't want to be a debate. Like people always talk, you debate. No, like I didn't debate Matt Powell. I had a conversation with a guy. I don't want to be a debater. I want to just come on and talk shit and talk about whatever's going on in the world. I just kind of get funneled to this Christian shit a lot because I deal with it all the time. And then I do get too passionate when I talk politics because I hate Trump.
Hey, just to step back to something you said a minute ago, X, in my experience, I find that this goes there, and here.
Yeah, exactly. There's more than one place to park the beef bus. That's what I'm just, you know, there's a lot more going on in life than people want to believe. So
that would definitely be a consideration now, like even now with the subs that I have now compared to where I was before, because, you know, I've always, well, not always, but pretty much since I left the South and stopped being a Southern Baptist, I've not been homophobic, and I've always been about equal rights, and you know, I've evolved as a person. So looking back on allowing Matt Powell to say some of the things he said in our conversations, and, you know, putting it out there, even though I'm standing in opposition, he was able to use those clips for propaganda, and exactly. and it was a double-edged sword, and it's something that I do regret now, even though it did help blow my channel up. Guzman's a 12-year-old little boy using those clips as propaganda to other little children.
And you saw how we handled Guzman on our channel, where we took one of his videos and we're like, let's give him actual real constructive feedback. Let's actually try to show this kid how to do a proper like response to something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, he just Sieg-Heiled his way out of the room and says "fuck you guys" kind of thing and come back. I mean, he didn't say that, of course, but you know,
well, he pretty much said that to me.
12 years old.
Yeah, he's 12. And he pretty much said that to me. We had this great conversation. He came in, and I mean, he was on for 4 hours, something like that, in a room full of people, and we had a good conversation. But he ended up by leaving, pretty much saying, you know, I got him to admit that he thinks that I'm a reprobate and that I should be put to death with the rest of the reprobates. But it was still a good conversation. And since that conversation, it's like the kid is non-existent. I can't get him back on. Everybody talked about how gentle I was with Guzman, and I was really gentle with that kid.
Yeah, we didn't even cuss on our video, which is amazing for us.
Yeah, that was me. Like, I'm surprised I kept my shit together like I did. And now he won't come back on and talk. It's all, you know, I once again, the Raging Atheist was able to make them look bad by not being the imbecile that they portrayed me to be in their movie. And they all right, let's cut ties with this guy. He's making us look bad.
No, he did enough work in his own video to make himself look like an imbecile. Like anytime he props up that stupid article where he talks about 90% of life spontaneously came about at one time on the earth, it's like, yeah, but homie, what about that other 10% that you're just freaking neglecting? There?
Yeah.
Like,
like even I still I can totally get behind this argument. I'd have to look at the stupid fucking article, but like if you understand evolution, you know, Africa was the cradle of life. You know? Like,
yep.
I mean, anything can be explained rationally if you just apply your mind, Matt Powell. But
how does a mind get so polluted in just 12 years?
I probably had it bad growing up myself. I was a kid growing up in the South, the Southern Baptist Church, and I was pretty insular because I was a military kid. So I didn't really have much going on except for the family and the church and stuff when I was a little kid, you know?
Yeah.
Some people, that's all their life. I mean, especially here in Utah, Jesus Christ, there are kids that are hardcore indoctrinated. My kids go to school with them, and they're like, our mom says that we can't hang out with you because you're not Mormon. You know, shit like that. You know, they keep their kids specifically separated.
Yeah, I think I was pretty lucky to be born in the North because my dad moved us to North Carolina first time, second grade. We moved there for good in the fourth grade after moving back with my mom for a year because we missed her. And I think I was really lucky because I think if I would have been born in the South and indoctrinated with that my entire life, it would have been a lot harder for me to escape it, because just in the short amount of time from the fourth grade up until I'd say when I was 16, 17 years old, you know, I had that Confederate flag on my wall. I was deeply homophobic, and I believed all the bullshit that I rage against now. Like, I believed in hell. I believed that, you know, gay people would go to hell, you know, the abominations. I believed all of that shit.
And that every human is flawed and that we deserve hell and all that shit. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We're all full of sin, you know, and we're just shit fucking beings on this planet. And, you know, if I had been raised into that my entire life, I can totally see where Guzman, who, once you start talking to the kid, is just a normal kid. He likes fossils. You know, he's fascinated by dinosaurs and probably saw a Kent Hovind video, and this might have turned him, you know, but he is so indoctrinated that it is really sad to see. But it's sad for people like us outside of that box that can look at it and say, hey, we were there. And man, I feel bad for this kid, you know. But at the same time, he comes to my chat and he's, you know, fags this and homos that, and you can't feel too bad for you at that point, you little shit.
Yeah, there got to be a point where we finally just went, you know what, fuck you, kid.
Yeah, and that's where I got, like, Matt Guzman, feel free to come in here and combat what I'm saying. If you feel like I'm misrepresenting you, feel free to say it. But the moment you use a derogatory slang, then you know, I'm gonna have moderators now, and they're gonna cut that shit out. Iron Chair Tier, I will watch that. I actually have watched that video. I got mixed feelings on Steven Anderson getting tased.
He got tased?
Yeah. He arguing with the cop, and it is totally his fault. Like, he's sitting there arguing with the cops, arguing with them, and yeah, they broke his window and fucking tased his ass. It was painful.
I'm no fan of Steven Anderson, but I'm less of a fan of cops. Let's just put it that way.
Well, and that's why I'm mixed. Like, you want to root, like, yeah, Steven Anderson just got his ass kicked, but then it's like, man, this is big government, and this is what I'm against with Trump. You know, like, and it's like, I'm pretty sure border security. So yeah, I'm not.
I just don't get the thing, you know, like, here's the
Are
thing.
you smoking Newport?
Yeah, I'm trying to quit, man. I'm trying to quit. You cannot gonna be the
like,
death of me.
At least they're not cools.
You cannot.
I used to smoke cools.
No, you can not like cops, or you can like cops, but I never understood the whole, you know, like, when I encounter a cop, it's yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. I mean,
but you shouldn't have to be. That's the point. What people are trying to make.
If you're for self-preservation, you should be. You know, I mean, it's just as simple as that.
My problem with police, and I actually have a really good friend that we're not really good friends anymore because he's an ex-cop and he doesn't like my rhetoric. And I try to explain to him my rhetoric with the police is this. Back in the day, we had individual freedoms when it came to the regards of how police were trained. They had to say certain things. They had to read you your rights. Now they're trained pretty much to shoot first, ask questions later, especially in regards to browner people. And until we fix the way that the police are trained, we've got to scream against it. We've got to. Not all cops are bad cops.
Yeah.
But most cops are going along with this shit. And even the good ones are not speaking out usually. So I'm all for this debate. Like,
you remember back when Katrina happened, and
$10? Fuck.
The whole city was flooded. They had a picture in one paper. Some white people were getting stuff from stores or what they could find, and the caption read, "White people scavenge after the storm." Then there was another picture of black people doing the same thing,
looting. Yeah,
and they called it looting. Yeah.
Frustrating.
All you have to do is go listen to. I mean, everybody knows that during like the race riots that happened after the Rodney King thing happened. I mean, but if you go back and listen to Sublime, come on, they were fucking looting too. It's like white people were looting too. Free shit is great. So
Frustrated has some issues with what I just said. Come on in, Frustrated. I'm gonna send you a link, dog. I'm sure that a lot of people would have issues with what I just said. I'm a Native American man. That's my identity. I'm mixed. I'm white and Native American. So my idea of police forces are probably a lot different than a lot of people's ideas of police forces. And I fully claim bias. Native Americans have not had the best relations with police forces, even here recently. All you have to do is #NoDapple.
Well, and I've had a fucking handful of like jackbooted cops here in Utah, but there's a lot of them here. Believe it or not, we have a lot of Farvas that are on the force here.
What's
not from Super Troopers? The guys.
All right,
yeah. Guys that get the fucking buzz cut haircut, but it's like a high top kind of thing they got going on, and they have the attitude of wearing the blades, and they're like, I'm a fucking cop. It's like where it becomes their identity. When these people start spouting off with Blue Lives Matter shit, and it's like, dude, your blue life is completely dependent on your job.
I can't stand that. No sane person is advocating for just going out and taking the life of cops. We're advocating for cops to stop taking the lives of brown people. Well, and not just brown people, but just poor people. I mean, it's not even really a race thing anymore, although there is some definite racial statistics that everybody should be looking at. But I mean, it's mainly like poor people don't have the same rights as other people do.
Yeah, and the fact is, like, I've never had like a really, really bad trip with the cops. I've had a couple of times where I had one where a gun was pulled on me because I had a tinted car. It was a lowrider. People couldn't see where my hand was going. This was a 93 Volkswagen Jetta, so it didn't have a glove box at the time. So all my license and registration shit was in the map pouch behind the passenger seat. And so I got a gun pulled on me. I'm like, okay, fuck, sorry, my bad. Some people don't get a chance to go, my bad.
Yeah, well, shit, dude. When I was a teenager, I've spoken about this often. I got arrested. Me and my friends, we lived in really Richville, North Carolina, Dade County. Back then, it was like one of the richest parts of the country. Bunch of fucking rich ass white kids thinking that we were hippies, and we got hooked on drugs, And so instead of like stealing from our parents to get our drugs, we stole from other people's parents, and we would break into their houses, and we would steal their guns because in North Carolina everybody had fucking guns, and that's what everybody wanted. Like, had this gun here's a fucking half pound of weed. Sweet. I'm 17 years old. I got a half pound of weed. I'm doing well in life. But when the police came for me and we had all these stolen guns, we were allowed to turn ourselves in, like, please come in. We don't want to harm you. you white boys, and I just, since then, I found out so many instances where people don't have that opportunity and are just fucking murdered. And just because it's police doing it, it's not considered murder. And to me, I'm going to have to speak out against that every single time I see it. Every single time.
They got frustrated that joined the chat.
Yeah. He doesn't like some of the things I'm saying. What's up, man? But we are good friends. So what's up, Frustrated?
Well, the thing is it's not necessarily that they're trained to shoot to kill, especially minorities. It's mainly so with the way that it goes now. I'm not going to say that this isn't the way they're trained. This is the way that there are some cops that do it that way.
Oh, I completely agree.
I'm not going to, because in the training, most of the times is when someone reaches too quickly behind them or whatever, they have to have this almost instinctual reaction to pull their gun. Hell, I can tell you, for instance, my cousin, who is white, he was drunk, was going to go and kick his brother's ass because his brother said that his current girlfriend at the time was like the town doorknob. Everybody's had a turn with her. And so he was going to hotwire my grandfather's 64 Rambler to go and find him and kick his ass. And so my uncle wouldn't allow it. and so they got into a fight. Cops end up getting called, and so he ends up going to go get a shotgun, and it wasn't loaded. I think it was more or less for scare tactics than anything. But he went and got a shotgun, and as the police arrive and get out of their car, he's stepping outside of the house with shotgun in hand, and the police automatically reached for his gun, and he swung sort of in the direction of the cop, and automatically it said that the only reason he didn't squeeze that trigger was because just as soon as my cousin swung around, my uncle got in the way. So this isn't something that they are trained to do. They don't sit there and say, oh, if you see dark skin, shoot. They are trained to.
Well, Ian, I'm not trying to say that. When I talk about the training,
that's exactly what you did say, though.
Well, let me clarify then. Let me clarify, because when I speak of training, I watch a lot of the Young Turks, so I watch far more stories about black men getting shot than most people. CNN isn't putting it on their news very often. So I'm coming from a Young Turks perspective, and the Young Turks argument that the training has changed from giving due diligence to, all right, protecting the life of the officer above everything else. And too often that does lead to rash judgments and stereotypical profiling that has led to the deaths of many, many people.
Well, then take it from this point of view. There was one man who came from the same perspective that these white cops are out there killing the minorities.
Oh no, it's not always white cops. It's everybody. It's just cops.
These cops are killing these minorities and yada yada yada. So I don't remember who it was, but he was big within the whole entire Black Lives Matter movement when it first arose. And so the cops actually said, okay, I want you to come with us and we're going to show you some of the training drills that our police officers go through on a daily basis or whenever they go through training. And so they went on this training thing, and so these scenarios that they set up were real life scenarios where they had a guy who had a gun, a fake gun. And what happens is the gentleman didn't pull his gun out for one guy who walked right past him, then turned around and shot him. Then the next guy comes by, the next scenario comes through, and what ends up happening is he ends up pulling his gun and firing at someone who was unarmed. And so it's these split-second decisions that have to be made that causes a lot of friction. And I'm not going to say in all cases, but a great majority of the cases. And it's these split-second decisions that you have to decide whether or not it's my life or theirs that that it's impossible to make. I mean, it's just
and I know that the world is different now. We live in I don't like falling for this trick, because I don't think we live in as dangerous a world as people try to portray it to be. But the world is different. Cops, police officers, military, definitely all face risks. The argument is you sign up for those risks, but of course we don't want our police officers dying, getting shot. I don't think anybody's advocating for getting rid of police, but we have to acknowledge that I mean, take Native Americans for instance. It was just 2 years ago that police forces were paid off by Big Oil to brutalize Native Americans in South Dakota. Now, most people in this country aren't aware of what happened, or I think it was North Dakota, no dapple. But if you just watch that footage, you can see how the police are over-militarized and can be prone to follow orders that should not be followed. Not to mention, if you just look at the data from 9/11 on, with the Patriot Act, the militarization of America's police forces, there is solid data to indicate that today's police forces are much different than police forces pre 9/11, and their training is much different as well.
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest things that started this whole entire thing was what happened in what was it? Up in Flint, Michigan, I want to say, where
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the individual, he was a black man who got shot in the back while fleeing the police officers, and people had gone on a big tangent about this and whatnot. Well, what the media neglected to actually follow up with was the fact that this particular individual had robbed this particular liquor store not once but twice at gunpoint. Was last known to be armed and dangerous, and had also already had a history of being combatant with the police officers.
You're talking about Ferguson, Missouri.
Ferguson, there you go.
Yeah, but for every one of those stories that we have, there's lots of ones where, like, the little kid got gunned down at the playground. You have
and not only that, like with that particular story, it doesn't really matter what he did before.
Yeah, we don't have a police force to summarily judge somebody for execution. That's the problem. That
he was running away non-armed. He should have not been gunned down. I mean, you'll never convince me otherwise. And I've often said that even the worst people, like, I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't, I will never, like, unless he's got a gun on him and he's threatening those police officers, there's no reason to use that force. Especially, we got like tasers and pepper spray. We got all this stuff now that doesn't require death. Rubber bullets,
again, the thing is you, as if you're a police officer and you already know that someone is combative with police officers, they've physically assaulted police officers before, that they are last known to be, that they're last known to be armed and dangerous. So you already have these two things running through your mind. And so I personally am not okay with how it went down myself. That if you thought that pulling your gun was necessary, shoot him in the leg, somewhere where, he's going to not be able to run quick enough.
Fire a warning shot at least. Stop.
Well, you gotta think,
you gotta
think in certain areas, warning shots do nothing but make you run faster.
True, but I mean if you got police officers behind you with guns pointed and somebody shoots, you might run faster, or you might stop, but at least you're giving them an indication. Hey, we're about to shoot you. So he'll have that opportunity to make that choice.
And again, I said that's I'm not happy with the situation and how it unfolded. But as a police officer, knowing that your life can be in danger at that point in time, shooting someone is not necessarily the worst option, because in that specific case, it was. I'm not going to lie. But in other cases, there are cops who have taken the benefit of the doubt that did not go home that night.
Yeah, and
so it's a judgment call that you have to make.
And it is a hard line. It's a hard line to draw, and it's a hard, really, debate, because you are talking about really split instance decisions, and that's where I think the training is so important about, those decisions. It's a hard debate, but I think something has to be done. And I also think that a lot of it comes down to just guns themselves. Everybody knows where I stand on that.
I was gonna say, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fact that we have way too many goddamn guns in this country. So
if we didn't have all these guns, cops wouldn't have to be so worried about people having all these guns. Yeah, so I mean, the elephant in the room is guns, and you know, I know Jill likes to say that it's not guns. People love to say that it's not guns, but if we didn't have guns, we wouldn't have these problems. You know, it's a lot harder to kill with a knife, although it's done. Shit, I remember a story about a guy that went crazy and ate somebody's face off. And
well, yeah, I've told this to several people, and I'll tell it here now. I've been around guns my entire life. I absolutely love them.
Same here.
I absolutely love them. If I lived in a society where guns were not necessary, I have two of them. I have a shotgun and a pistol. And if I lived in a society where I can give them up to know that the society itself would be a lot safer place, I'm all for that. I will give up my guns right now.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. Like, I grew up around guns. I don't own guns, but
yeah, I have kids in the house. I don't have guns because there's too much of a chance of shit going wrong with that kind of stuff. And I'm saying that as a kid that was brought up with gun safety, that I had access to guns all the fucking time. And I played with them probably more than I should have as a kid, you know, because they weren't kept under lock and key like they should have been, you know.
And my dad did keep his under lock and key, and we figured out how to pick that lock.
We did a clip. We did a clip today on Utah Outcasts where there was the police officer's son got pissed off at the dad for they said in the story it was about video games not being allowed to play them. I tend to think that the kid was probably abused by his parents or he's got something wrong, you know. But the cop dad had his gun just stowed in his car instead of, you know, having it in the gun safe, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that has always been something that bothered me. Like, growing up, my dad's guns were never out and about. They, like, for instance, in the previous in one house that he lived in, there was a little vent for the AC.
yeah, I know what you mean. A register.
The filter. Filter. That he stowed guns in there. He had guns and the only reason why I knew that was because I was an adult and I was changing out the air filter. Yeah. But he had guns stowed in there. He had guns way up high in his closet, out of the reach of any small children.
Yeah.
He also had guns stored over at his friend's house in a safe. So he had guns stashed almost everywhere. And but like I said, they were always out of reach and out of place areas where kids couldn't get to them. And the ones that he did have in the vent all had a lock wire.
Well, that's
the
good.
Wire with the lock to keep them inside there, so that way no one could just pull one out, and B, all together, so that way you're not going to be able to get a single individual rifle out.
Well, so I think that guns are the most important issue when it comes to this conversation. But I'll tell you this, like, the thing that I have seen change most in the police force since I was a kid, and I will admit that most of the time when I was raised as a child, I was in a smaller North Carolina community where maybe it was just the closer. But I even know, like, I've read stories about New York City, a huge city, where police would actually be involved with their communities, would actually know the members of the places they were patrolling. They would be involved with human beings, and now it just doesn't seem like that. It seems like they are our.
You also have a departure from the police force of being a force for actual good within the neighborhood, instead of it being a force for property protection or business protection, or a way of increasing tax revenue for the county that they're in, that kind of thing. So,
and I think that if police would just go back to interacting with communities instead of, like what X is saying, is protecting corporations or protecting the bottom line, then
or making money for the city, you know.
It would be a lot better.
Is there even such a thing as a beat cop anymore?
I don't think so, and maybe
I don't have them here.
We don't have them here. Yeah, we don't have them here.
Well, I live in a
Does anybody remember George Kennedy? Remember the show with George Kennedy back in the 70s, The Blue Knight? He was a beat
little
cop.
Before my time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you got me on that one. Sorry, man.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm the ancient one in the room. But yeah, it was all about a beat cop. You know, he knew everybody in the neighborhood, and he interacted with them.
And I do remember a lot of shows like that, and I remember that from my childhood. Like I remember, I can't remember his name. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. But he would come to our house, like at least once a week, and have coffee and talk with the family. And you don't get that shit no more, man. You just don't.
Me personally, I live in a more rural area, so where I live, there's no such thing as a beat cop because
there's not enough population density for it in my neighborhood. So
so you'd have a cop that'd be walking miles away from his vehicle, like so that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but it is out this way, so
it's a different world now too. You have to take that into account. It is definitely with technology, with guns, with terrorism and all. It's a different world. You can't just ignore that. It's the same. It's not the same world. Yeah.
But I did see this one thing that circulated on Facebook about a guy. I think it was either in Louisiana or I don't remember exactly where, but he is a beat cop, and he actually would hang out in the black neighborhoods, bring the kids who were playing basketball some chips and drinks and whatnot, and he'd chill out on their porch just after work and just hang out with them. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Dang. And that's I think what I miss most, and that's probably my biggest problem is, you're just not really taking the time to really get to know human beings. They just become faces, and then they become stereotypes. You can't like nobody is gonna fit any kind of stereotypical mold you put on them unless you have a conversation with them to find out who they really are. And if you're just profiling people, which so many police officers do in this country today, just profiling, this guy has his pants sagging, or, that guy's got dirt on him. I mean, that's my problem with police. When I talk about training, it's we've got to just I don't know, maybe just a slight tweak to the training. I don't think it would be too hard to stop some of these senseless murders while still protecting our police officers.
Well, hold on, I'm about to look at the song. But there's a song. I'm looking it up now. Oh, no, that's not who it is.
So, Godless Cranium got demonetized.
Yeah, that was fucked up. But what I was saying was there's a song by a guy named Corey Smith called "Fuck the Popo," and there's one part in the song where he actually talks about it, and I think that is more correct to what's happening today. Is the fact that he talks about how he knows that there's cops that are out there, doing the right thing and whatnot. He goes, but at the same time, he's pretty much saying that. But for the cop who wears his badge as a crown, this song is for you, and I'll never bow down. And that's kind of what it is. It's like you do get these cops that think that the badge that they wear is a crown, and that they can just treat people however the hell they like to. And that they're always going to get away with it.
Well, and that's a problem in police forces, but not only the police forces, but it's a problem in religious communities and in the military. You're going to draw people with certain types of personalities into these things. And when you have the Catholic Church suppressing sexuality, you're going to draw a certain type of person into that church, into roles of leadership. And that's why you have what you have in the Catholic Church at the highest echelons of the Catholic Church is just, you're going to draw certain mentalities. The quiverful movement that's going to promote that a man should dominate a woman. Well, you're going to draw those personalities that are going to want to dominate a woman. And that's always been my argument against it. That there's a lot of good cops out there, but then as many good cops as there are, there's a lot of fucking asshole cops that take their authority.
You know why that is though, is because when it comes to a lot of cops, there's a fine line between the psychological makeup of a person who would want to be a cop and a criminal.
And a criminal, yep.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, it's not even males that are doing this. Because the only time I came across a cop who really, really was a fucking asshole was a woman cop. I was driving through Santa Fe, and I was taking the back roads because there was a parade that was happening, and I went around this one part of this barrier because it had only covered one part of the street, so I thought that was left open for people to go around. And so I was going over, trying to get onto the main road to go where I was getting to, and she sat there and it's like, "Why'd you go around one of my barriers?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't," and I was trying to explain the situation, and she's like, "If you've made it to this point, you went around my barriers. I don't know why y'all fucking think that y'all can do this." And I'm like, the fuck? If at the time, see, here in Texas now, we have a law where you can carry around
I always forget
any
you
size.
live in Texas. I always forget that.
You can carry around any size blade. You can carry around a sword if you want to. Here in Texas now, but
yeah, you get shot in Utah for that shit.
But before that, it was no longer than the length of your palm. So I had a knife on me at the time that was longer than the length of my palm. Otherwise, I would have probably gone to jail that day because I would have gotten out of my car and been like, "I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to." But I didn't because I had that knife on me, and I could have gotten a little bit longer than I was expecting to get. So,
well, and that's the thing too and that's the argument is, you're worried about getting more time to where black dude more times than not getting shot. And it doesn't even take disrespect. It just having the knife.
One thing they should do is there should be a federal law passed that every police officer should have to have a body cam on at all times.
Well, and I think we're going to get to that point.
I honestly don't understand why anybody wants to do that goddamn job to begin with.
Me neither. And everything that I say about police officers as an outsider looking in, I wouldn't want that job. I wouldn't want the responsibility or the decision making that comes with it.
Yeah, I hate the fact that I have to make enough decisions as an IT manager.
I had to make that.
I was going to say, look, here's the reason why my default position, except for the ones that are proven to be bad, my default position is to have respect for them. And here's the thing, anybody that runs towards the gunfire or runs into the burning building or runs into the crumbling Twin Tower, you have to have a certain modicum of respect for them.
Yeah.
Well, I get that, but at the same time, just because they're wearing a uniform doesn't mean we should have to respect anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
When people say
they still have to earn the respect. You're right.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is, like, when people were doing the whole respect the troops, yellow ribbon kind of shit that was going on, it's like
I was about to go there myself.
I'm a kid of the military, and I know that PTSD fucked up childhood a bit for me from my parents because my old man was one of those guys that went to the Gulf War, and so there was a lot of shit that went on, and it's like, yeah, respect the troops and the fact that we need to get them mental service, and they do deserve the college that they get, but at the same time realize that a lot of these people that take these jobs, especially military, are because they can't find real work and they join the military because it was a steady paycheck and kind of thing. That doesn't mean they automatically garner immediate respect. It just means that yes, they're people too, just like we are. But sorry, I'm getting off my own point there.
Well, no. I have to agree with you because I was in the Army, and my reason for being in the Army, the patriotism part was
part of it.
I can do that.
It's part of it. Well, because I was in ROTC to go into the Army as an officer, and they sell you the patriotism. In every fucking briefing that you're in, every video that you watch, every training that you have, like, it is like number one, the thing. You're doing this because you love this country, and they hit you over the fucking head with it,
Yeah.
So,
and I had all these other things, I wanted to do something to make my family proud, whatever. But at the bottom line of it, the reason why I joined the Army was because I was living at my grandparents' house. I was working a dead-end job, and I had nothing to show for my life, and I was 20.
Yep. That was my old man. My old man joined the Air Force specifically for that reason. He's like, I got a kid on the way. I'm married. There ain't no prospects for me in Arkansas. I need to get the fuck out of here. So
here's a word that gets thrown around a lot. Now, are you automatically a hero because you joined the armed forces?
Nope. No. Fuck that. No.
Yeah.
No, I know a lot of shitbags that were in the army.
Yeah, exactly.
Army.
That's what I was trying to get to, is that not everybody in the army was good people, not everybody in the military is good people. So when people hero worship, I have a fucking problem immediately. When people, not just troops, but like currently right now, since we're in the heat of the fucking primary season, even though it's 2019.
Really early primary season.
But people are hero worshiping people already. It's like, dude, don't. Yeah, they're people. They suck.
Well, and
hero worshiping.
So my thing is, I will give respect to the troops if they're actually defending freedom. But right now, what we're doing,
I gotta say, we haven't been defending freedom. We haven't been defending freedom for a long fucking time.
Yeah, it's all about resources and oil and
now.
Brown people. It's disgusting.
Is there some good? Is there some good that? Huh?
No, I just was going to say, X mentioned that we're already in the primaries, and I just want to say, yeah, remember when Jeb Bush was the front runner and Donald Trump was a joke and wasn't going anywhere?
You could go back into the archives of Utah Outcasts and see that we're like, there's no fucking way. There's no way that guy's going to win. And boy, we got really drunk around election time 2016. There's a lot of videos where we are like really bad in sobriety on that one.
I think I was crying on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure Felicia and I made it to some sort of cringe list of leftists losing their shit over the election. It's like I was just mad. That's how I react to a lot of stuff. I'm just mad.
I was fucking angry.
I just
hope it's not Beto. I mean, fuck anybody else but Beto.
I remember the night of that election. I remember.
What's wrong with Beto?
I forgot your Texas frustrated. I've been in a big debate with one of my Texas friends. He's actually a best friend of mine since I was a little kid. He lives in Texas. And I'm not a Beto fan. To me, Beto is a fake progressive. He's a turncoat. He's a flip-flopper. He's going to say what you want to hear. I have big issues. Look at his voting record, 76% voting record with conservatives in his state. I'm not for Beto.
Hey, Wajida, I just want to let you know. I think the reason you're getting stepped on is your mic is real low. So every time,
I haven't heard you, Wajida, in a while.
he just tried to speak a minute ago, and it's just so low that nobody, I think, is hearing him.
Yeah, it could be my fault too. I don't have the video up. I'm doing show prep for tomorrow, so.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the live chat.
Yeah, I've got some big things hopefully going on tomorrow. We'll see if that Christian blogger gets back to me in time.
But you got
better?
That's better.
Oh yeah, that's much better. Yep.
All right, I just gotta talk directly into the thing,
and no more echo.
But you gotta think though, Nakasuchi. This is Texas, and a great majority of people seem to be conservative when they run, and so it's hard to say, oh look, he's voted for conservative. It's like when the great majority of the state is conservative, and those are people who are running. It's like, it's kind of hard to just sit there and not vote conservative if you want to cast a vote.
Well, and I do get that he's in a conservative state, although Texas, by all indication, is getting closer and closer to purple.
And the thing is one of the things that I liked him.
The biggest problem with Beto is he promised not to take corporate PAC money and then took fossil fuel money and thought he'd get away with it. He didn't. We found out about it. He broke his word. He flip-flopped on Medicare for all. He flip-flopped on public option. I mean, to me, he is going to just say what he thinks. To me, Beto O'Rourke is going to mimic everything Bernie Sanders says. To me.
You mean to tell me a politician lied?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I haven't really. Everybody knows I'm a burner, but I haven't really decided who I'm going to vote for. I just know it's not going to be Beto O'Rourke.
Anybody blue, no matter who, 2020.
Well, if Beto gets the nomination, I'm talking primaries, but whoever gets the nomination is a million times better than the orange buffoon in the White House. That's for damn sure.
I'm ready to feel the burn.
Yeah,
it's time.
I don't want people to Bernie does have some things that people should think about before you throw your support in the ring with him. I'm not going to say those things because I'm a burner, but I would just do your due diligence, and I say that with everybody. If you're going to vote for somebody, know everything about them. Know what's acceptable and what's unacceptable. If you can take the unacceptable, vote.
Well, I'll tell you what. The fact that Bernie didn't get the nomination in 2016 is a big reason why Trump won.
Well, I would agree with that.
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think Bernie would have won against Trump either.
Well, but here's the thing. I think he would have, because a lot of people that would have voted for Bernie gave protest votes to Trump, or they stayed home.
I think he would have gotten Michigan, but I'm not sure about Pennsylvania or Wisconsin. But I'm fairly certain he would have got Michigan.
We could sit here and armchair quarterback the 2016 election as much as we want.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, so we got to focus on what's in front of us. So what my problem with Beto, and this came out today, I got this on Reddit, was that he was asked this Friday if his goal was to set a single payer system for healthcare, and in my opinion, you can't be the Democratic candidate without pushing for single payer.
I agree.
He said no. He said, no, my goal is to get guaranteed high-quality universal health care for all, and I think there are many ways to get there. Like, you have to have a public option first, and then you can do supplemental insurance on top of that. I agree with the way that Germany does things like that. I think it's a good system. I think the way that Canada does things is a good system. But you have to have a basic, everybody gets health care, and it's taken out of everybody's taxes. The whole fact that the Obamacare thing went through, that was a Republican idea. As much as they don't want to own it, that was a fucking Republican idea. Mitt Romney owns that shit.
Yeah, I screamed that till I'm blue in the face. Like, they call it Obamacare. And I'm like, it's Romney care. It was the great compromise that Obama did and got butt fucked for it.
Yeah, see, the thing is, Obama was fucked no matter what he did. No matter what he did, there was no way he could have won or could have lost on anything, because he had to play the centrist role the entire time he was in. Otherwise, people would have painted him in a worse light than he already got from the Republicans.
And it was a double-edged sword, because he lost progressives like me because he went to the middle. And then when he would come left, he would lose the people in the middle. And then, of course, the right wing was just, he's the worst liberal. I'm like, if Obama's a liberal, like, what the fuck am I?
Jesus Lord says you can't be a dim without killing babies. Oh, fuck you.
Bill Clinton was the same way.
I love Jill, man.
He was a centrist.
No, you got to
Jill. Yeah, see, and I think that in our case, for a lot of people that have the conservative mindset, they have to be shown that the way that we're going to do things as progressives is going to benefit them in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you keep coming to the middle, they're never going to be shown what a progressive ideology is going to do for this country.
And that's my thing is let's be left. All right, let's be left for once in our fucking history, or not for one, but
no, fucking FDR was a fucking democratic socialist, man.
At least since FDR, let's try it, and if it doesn't work, then we'll try something else. But let's stand firm and not keep giving in to these damn Republicans.
Yeah, the current way of Reaganomics is not fucking working, and it hasn't worked for a long ass time.
I had to explain that to Jesus is Lord last time he came on. Like, dude, the economy's doing good right now. This is what happens every time we try this trickle down economic shit. You get a boom, and then you get a bust. And we're hoping that the bust ain't worse than 2008.
Oh, it's going to be. It already is. Are you kidding me?
It's already. The indicators are there. This is going to be crazy.
I saw a news article. And I saw a news article the other day that said that more middle-class people are on government services than ever before. And I'm like, that's not the fucking middle class. That means that there is no middle class.
There's no middle class. and the vast majority of those people are your Southern conservatives.
Okay, the temporarily embarrassed billionaires or millionaires, they like to think
that. Hey, Nakasuchi.
What up?
Hey, look at chat real quick, and hey, give me a wrench, will you, man?
Yeah, ban that fucker.
Which one?
I have a wrench.
Where are you?
I'm saying, give John Peterson, give me a wrench, will you?
Yeah, you got it coming right now. See, I've thought about banning.
Is this the day that Jill gets smited?
Yeah, I thought about banning Joe because he is a sexist fucker a lot of times.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, so that brings me down to another
after what he did
topic.
to Tasha.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say this brings me down to this road where it's like there's a lot of people that have platforms. I don't know how you do things around here, but on my platform, someone comes at me with bad intentions and starts just, you know, railing against me. I don't need that. Fuck you. You're gone. And so I do that. I do that on Twitter. I don't really have that much. I don't have a problem on Facebook because I fucking hate Facebook. But on YouTube and stuff, if people aren't willing to have a decent discussion with me, like, I don't mind if somebody comes on my channel and says, "You're wrong. This is where you're wrong. Let me talk about this with you." I'll be like, "Great, let's have this discussion." But if someone comes in, "Oh, look at the fat beta cuck male and that slut of a woman on the show," it's like, no, you're not even here to like have a discussion with anybody.
I'm the same way. I am about
that's chill.
Yeah, well, I'm about genuine conversations. Like, and I learned the hard way with Darth Dawkins. Like, you just got to boot this fucker off.
Yeah, there's some people that don't deserve your platform at all.
Yeah. So. With Jill though, he's weird because he gets in the comment section and trolls, but when he comes in and talks, even though the things he says is reprehensible. It is an actual honest conversation when he comes in and actually talks. Usually, sometimes not so
okay,
much.
well, look.
I think that's because
he just X just said it. Jill said in the chat. He said, "You can't be a Dem without pushing, killing babies." And I responded, "Hey, Christians and Republicans also get abortions." And then he responded with, "This is just beautiful." He responded with, "The Bible is the keystone to our faith, not Republican or Democrat." Well, motherfucker, you brought up Democrats. You brought up politics.
Well, he's been doing it all day. All day he's been talking this Republican shit all day. Like, it's been abortions all day with him. And I think he must have been watching Brett Keane or some shit. Like, seriously. Like, Jill, stop watching Brett Keane.
I'm honestly, I think the only reason that Jill has any, like, crumbs of respect when he comes here is because he knows you have a big platform and you let him speak. When he's anywhere else, even when he gets on to speak, he's just a complete prick.
Well, you know, and I have to admit that the platform's getting bigger, and this is new to me, dude. Like, I was sitting in obscurity forever. So yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely evolve with this thing because it's starting to get bigger and bigger.
And
he says, "I do call atheists betas." Yeah, ban this asshole. I mean, come on.
Be gone.
There's no such thing as an alpha and a beta. Yeah. Even that wolf study has been proven that it's complete bullshit. You know?
Yeah, you want me to put him in timeout?
Yeah,
I did it too.
I did it too.
Okay, so
back to the children's table.
So the whole entire alpha beta thing was, for those who don't know, which hopefully is not very many people here, but there was a guy who had been studying wolf behaviors.
Wolves in captivity, mind you. Yeah, wolves in captivity.
And he would been studying their behaviors and noticed that there was what he called the alpha male who controlled everything with all these other beta males.
I like trolling them about
it. What the beta males do pretty much what the alpha tells them to, and that there was an alpha male and an alpha female, and he did this all on some studies that he had been doing. Well, then later on, after he already published his writing, come to find out that what he just now saw was completely opposite of what he had been studying. That these all of the participants within the pack did things together to help each other out, and it wasn't at all an alpha and beta thing. And so he made a retraction about that study, saying that he was wrong, that no one should ever take that at all to heart anymore because of the new findings he'd found. But because he'd already published it out and people started eating that shit up, it was already too little too late.
Damage was done. Yep.
The damage was done. And that's where you get this whole entire beta male and alpha male type of thing.
And I mean,
this one failed study.
Let's just be honest, though. If there is a beta and an alpha, Jill is definitely a fucking beta. You know, he's following the herd.
No, Kyle and myself, we call ourselves omegas, or we call ourselves like deltas or something like that. Because I'm like, yeah, first and second order, nah, nope, I'm not with that. I'm with the ladies waving baskets back at the camp. I don't give a shit.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, you guys go do all the killing. I'm gonna sit here by the fire and
I'm gonna make some good ass food and I'm gonna get laid. So
call me a girly man all you want,
guys. I'll. Hey, hold on. Before anyone else continues, I'll be right back. I got to call work real quick.
when I was in junior high, back when we still had such things as home ec classes that were going on.
I remember home ec.
I was in Idaho at the time, and I was taking a home ec class, and like one of the things we were learning how to do is make biscuits and sewing and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't see any shame in being able to say I can make my own shirts and I can cook some good fucking biscuits. I mean, I do all the cooking in my house, so it's not just biscuits, but at the same time, it's like, what's wrong with knowing how to fucking cook a biscuit? Fuck you people that think that's a bad thing.
I was raised in a southern home with a southern stepmother that didn't like us to do dishes. She did all the cooking. So when I became an adult, man, I wanted to fucking cook. And I taught myself how to cook.
Like I was saying, military family and stuff, and both mom and dad worked because, capitalism, it just works so well for families these days. I had to do, starting from like the age of like 8 and until I like graduated college, I did a lot of the cooking in the house. Like I helped out making dinner all the time because mom had to go to work. Dad needed a meal before he went to college kind of thing. So I was always fucking cooking.
Yes.
And it continues to this day because why the fuck not? I mean, if I like what I cook, that's the thing.
I love what I cook. I would much rather eat something I cook than somebody else's. I think it's a trust issue.
Well, the thing is it's not necessarily that I like my cooking. I've been told I'm okay at it. I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But the thing is in my house, it's me and my wife, and 9 times out of 10, except for right now because I'm on night shift, 9 times out of 10, I do the cooking because she doesn't like to cook. And I have no issue with that whatsoever. I mean...
Yeah, because gender roles are bullshit,
Yeah, these stereotypes that the woman's supposed to be at home cooking, cleaning, and all this other stuff while the man goes out and gets the bacon to put on the table is completely and utterly ridiculous. I've told my wife several times that if she made more money than me, enough to where I didn't have to work,
God,
she did,
great.
and she said that, oh babe, you don't have to work. I'd be like, okay. I have no problem with that because I can then spend more time with my wife and
spend more time on YouTube.
That too.
But I could actually
that's what I would do. I'd be like on YouTube 24/7.
I would be able to spend more time doing things I want to do, including spending more time with my wife, than having to go to work every day to help provide and spend very little time with my wife at the end of the day. So
it's a simple equation for me, speaking as what I think is probably the only bachelor on the panel. If I don't cook, I don't eat. So
that makes 2 of us.
Yeah, 2 of us. Right?
Yeah.
Well, and it's easier in the times that I have had single time as an adult, a married person kind of thing, where I'm like, she's out of town for a week or I'm out of town for a week. Getting things cooked in batches and you could have like a meal throughout the whole week. I'm good with that. Like I love meal prep. So
my wife went. I had to stay at work because I didn't have any overtime, but I went a week away from work because me and my wife went on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And in December, she ends up going with my family to like New Mexico for Christmas, and I had to stay because I had to go to work. So my meals consisted of going to Taco Bell, and that was my meals because I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna cook for just myself, so I'm just gonna stop by on my way to work. Stop by and grab me food on my way. So that's what I did for almost the entire week.
If you looked in my freezer right now, you would see chili, stews, and 3 or 4
slow cooker meals. Yeah,
right. All shit I made in the slow cooker,
yep.
And then portioned out and froze. I probably got enough of soups and stuff like that I made myself. I could go 2 months on.
Shit, sorry. Actually, Jen was one in. I accidentally put you in timeout instead of Joe. Sorry about that, Jen. You're my homegirl. Jesus is Lord, straight up, dude. If you keep up with this Democrats killing baby shit, I'm gonna have to just boot you like for good. I like you coming in trolling me, but you're getting ridiculous now.
There was 3 of us that put him in timeout.
I totally put one of my oldest commenters in timeout. I'm sorry, Jen with one in.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's because you go and you click on the thing to do something, and then it scrolls up.
I'm like, fuck. Like, I
yeah, that's so
I should
funny.
be able to take that away. You know,
the three of us simultaneously timed out.
yeah, like, man, like Jill, he's being bad tonight. I seriously, like, he had to be watching like Hannity or probably Brett Keane, because he seems to be butt buddies with Brett Keane now. So, like, and this is what Brett Keane talks, is this whole like Democrats are atheist and baby killer shit.
I think I know what triggered him. I think he might have recently found out that his mom aborted him.
Well, and there's so many issues with Brett Keane that I don't think I could ever spend any of my time with him, because he is just, for starters, he's fucking two-faced as fuck.
He is. Like, I try to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He told you flat out, if you showed me where Matt Powell had said these things, then I'm going to have a serious talking to him. And then whenever he was confronted with it, with Matt Powell saying exactly what he thinks about it, he was like, oh, well, you know, I see where you're coming from, type of thing. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, like, he totally like, Matt Powell literally said it. Like, yeah, I think that all gay people are pedophiles and all pedophiles should be put to death. And Brett Keane is just like, yeah, you're saying that if they're consenting adults, they shouldn't be put to death, right? And I'm like, no, you didn't fucking say that.
Oh my God! If I have to hear somebody make the conflate homosexuality with pedophilia again, I mean, the top of my head.
The new thing now is not even that. Like, the new thing now, like, I've been in 2 debates on Modern Day Debates. Both debates now, the Christian has attacked me because, as an atheist, supposedly I fuck animals. I don't get it, but that's their attack now. Bestiality.
Hang on. But you do fuck animals. You do fuck animals because humans are animals.
Yeah, but they're talking like
touche.
But the thing is the reason why they're saying this is their whole entire motive behind this is the fact that as atheists, you quote unquote can't don't have any reason to justify objective morality, and since that, you can't say that killing is wrong, you can't say that bestiality is wrong, you can't say all these other things are wrong, so therefore you commit all these things.
Oh yeah, I'd love to get into a fight with somebody about subjective morality versus objective morality.
By the way, frustrated. Have you ever been to SeaWorld?
Yeah, I've been to the one in San Antonio and in San Diego.
Well, because if you've ever been to SeaWorld, you have spent time with Brett Keane.
Oh, shit. Boo.
Well, I don't know.
That was an easy joke.
Yeah, that was an easy joke. But,
he calls me the raging anus now because I called him the manatee once.
But he is the manatee.
But the thing is I've actually was in a live chat with Cy Tim Bergencape, where I told him. Well, no, he wasn't. Both of us were in the side chat. Watching
okay. I was gonna say, did he have fun? Did you have fun having him tell you that like everything that you believe is because you believe in God ahead of time? It's like,
that's another one of their new arguments.
The thing is I told him
I've been in a couple streams with Cy Tim.
Fucking presuppositional apologetics just drives me insane.
The thing is, I told him, look, we're gonna have to talk about these things at a later date, because YouTube side chats, they have these they have the character limitations, and you can't exactly express what you're trying to say with that. So I told him we're gonna have to get in a conversation about this later, but he sat there and went off talking about objective morality, and I was like, you do realize that you can get objective truth through a purely relative morality, right? And he's like, how so? And I was like, we're going to have to get into that conversation at a later date.
Yeah, side chat is not a place to have a discussion about subjective versus objective morality, man.
Yeah. And the thing is he of course, whenever I was going off of, because we kind of got into a little bit about it, only because somebody kept talking to him about these things, and so I had to say something against what he just said. And I told him, that I was explaining how morality is based out of. And he, of course, at one point in time said, so you're borrowing from from the Christian worldview. I was like, no, not at all. These are just examples. because I gave examples of where we get certain things.
God damn.
Yeah.
Usually Wujita's microphone's on point, but yeah, you're killing us. You're killing us. Oh shit.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, but he, but I, I was lifting off examples of certain things, and one of the things was I said that we're because he asked why is multiplying the species important? And I was like, because this is something that's brought up throughout all cultures. I mean, hell, you see it everywhere you go, where we're taught pretty much to have big, abundant families, and then I brought up the fact that that it's also taught in church about bring forth and multiply. And he's like, so you're borrowing from my worldview? I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just listing off cultures. I'm just listing off different groups of society that show this as something that is what we should be going after. And it diverged into other aspects later on, but then finally I just sat there and told him again, I was like, look, we're going to have this conversation on some channel later on.
Hey, frustrated. The funny thing is when Psi 10 accuses people of borrowing from his worldview, he's actually saying the opposite of the truth, because the truth of the matter is Christians borrow from a secular worldview, okay? Because if Christians truly derive their morality from the Bible, society would be a literal hellscape where, murder would be going on a daily basis. Homosexuals, unruly children, adulterers would be being slain by the minute. So this idea that we borrow from a Christian worldview is nonsense.
Yeah, well, and the fact that they do you think that we just lose morality when we lose God?
Oh no. The thing is with Psi is he says that it's not that you lose God; it's the fact that you are of his existence and you just deny it.
Yeah, and I hate that argument. Like they've been coming at me with that a lot lately. Like I really believe in God, but I'm just saying I don't. And I'm like, no, I don't fucking believe in God. Like the only reason it's even a possibility is because fucktards like you have put it forth for 6,000 years.
Yeah, I don't get that whole, hey, thank you very much for telling me what I believe.
And damn, I use that word again. I'm trying really hard to stop using fucktard because of the tard part. I'm trying not to use that language anymore.
Yeah, it takes work. It takes work.
Yeah.
What triggers me is when they use autistic. And I had a guy argue with me in a live chat once. Oh, it's just a joke. It doesn't mean what you think. I said, well, I'll tell you what. Go find the parents of an autistic child and talk like that to them and see how they like it and see how that works out for you.
Well, yeah, and I hate it when they use the autism argument. Like Atheist Rationale comes on my channel. He's autistic, brilliant young man,
good dude, really good dude,
really good guy. And I just hate that, like the anti-vaxxers that claim that vaccine causes autism. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my god! So do you know where that comes from?
Yeah,
McCarthy.
No. It came before that.
Yeah, it was before
British
McCarthy.
researcher.
Yeah.
There was a doctor who.
Yeah, she did make it popular.
There was a doctor who had made these unsubstantiated claims, and he had no actual data to back this up. He just made this link out of thin air. And if they actually did the research into it and found out that
Andrew Wakefield in the Lancet in 1998.
Yeah. And once they figured out that happened, not only did they take away his license to practice, if I'm not mistaken, they actually threw him in jail.
I hope fucking so, man. Because I mean, it's just ridiculous, dude. Like, my daughter has diabetes now. So if somebody comes in with one of these diseases, it could really fuck her up. It could really mess her up really bad.
One of my biggest issues with this is the fact that let's just even though we know for a fact that there is really no correlation between the two, let's just say there is. Let's just say that, yes, vaccines cause autism, then why are you?
Fuck beats death.
Yeah, it beats fucking death. So you were literally saying I would rather have my child die than have autism, and that I've heard this. I've heard someone say this before.
Hey, just real quick.
Right.
I just want to interject. Reese C. Yes, that word does offend people.
Yeah, we stopped using it on Utah Outcast years ago because a couple of people said, hey, that's not cool. And you know what? Instead of being all like, oh, fuck you, PC police, saying that I can't use words, it's just a joke. It's like, maybe I should stop. Maybe I should use better language, instead of using a crutch. So.
That's exactly where I'm at now. I have used that word, and this is something new to my audience, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I have come to that same determination. I always used it as an adjective, and I'm coming to the realization that it's not an adjective in the way that I was using it, and that I need to use better language. So,
yeah, and because we had the same problem here in Utah. I don't know if it was a nationwide thing, but in the early 2000s, using gay as a pejorative thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's so gay. And
and I still catch myself doing it, and that's something that I really tried to get out of my vocabulary. And I'm an Eminem fan, and I'm with him on his argument. Like, I understand what you're saying, but words do have impact.
Yeah.
They do.
And the thing is I know where Nakatsuchi was just coming from, because one of my favorite lines in 8 Mile was whenever he's battling against Exhibit, and he's talking. Exhibit had made fun of the gay guy on the crew for the thing, and he says, "Paul's gay, you're a faggot." And I back way years and years ago, I was like that. I understand that argument.
It was a distinction, but that's also the same thing as making the distinction between. Well, the N-words exist in white people too. It's like no. You can't use that argument.
That's the thing. Is what I'm saying is that back in the day, I understood it and was like, I can get behind this. And then it wasn't until I got until more recently that I was like, that still shouldn't be used.
When I got called that by Matt Powell a couple of weeks ago with the OT at the end of it, I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, I haven't heard that term in a long time. Someone calling me that.
And I just want to interject real quick, just to throw back to the chat again.
Yeah, Reese C had a good thing there.
Reese C, that's an equivocation fallacy. You're trying to take two different definitions of that word and conflate them.
See, and I would understand that if you were speaking French, because that's where the root of the word is from. I'm a huge etymology nerd. Retard means to slow down. But we don't speak French. It's a borrow word. Yeah. So use something else. So
just like the English and the French use fag as cigarette, but we here in America
bundle of sticks, but it means something else. Yeah. So
well, I mean,
or cigarette.
Like the word abort. Abort. You can abort a baby, but you can also abort a mission. I mean,
see, and I still use that because the terminology in my work. So abort program loads and stuff like that.
Although I do gotta say, I found this one video once where I just could not help but laugh. Where there was this mentally challenged kid who was listening to someone speak, and out of nowhere it says, that dude's fucking retarded. And I was like, and he's like, and I'm retarded. And I could not help but laugh. But at the same time, I'm just like, I feel bad for laughing, but at the same time, it's fucking hilarious because he's just like, that dude's retarded and I'm retarded. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing, but bad.
That'd be on the same level as people using the own term. Like if I'm pansexual, so I'm not going to use the F word for anything like that. I'm not going to use like gay or anything like that, but it's just like, I could see where I could use like, why are you acting so queer? That's an okay thing because that's in my wheelhouse. But for a lot of gay people, they could be like, wow, that's really gay. That kind of stuff. So
that's totally my thinking on it too. Is I was raised.
You can own the term if it is what you are. That's what I'm trying to say there. So
And when it comes to retarded, I was raised with that definition of retarded. All right, you're just being stupid. But and I think I made a whole video defending my usage of that word and how I'm going to use it forever. But the more you think about it, just the more you think about it, and especially
you might want to private that video there, buddy.
Yeah, I might want to go back and look at that video now. But just the more that I thought about it is it doesn't matter how I intend the word.
Exactly. That's
what matters is how they're receiving it, and that's what has to matter.
I'm a big fan on making sure that the negative aspects of these words, because there's the negative aspects of these words, these are the reasons why we shouldn't use them.
Yeah. Jen with one N has a good point. Like, says that Mongoloid used to mean more too, so things changed. Like, one of my favorite Devo songs is called Mongoloid, but you can't say that nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm with the changing of things and all of that. But I also think like a lot of times if I'm like, "Oh, you're just being retarded," really, I'm just dismissing their argument without combating it. And I'm doing the exact same thing I rant and rage against people doing against my arguments. So that's pretty much where I came to. It's like, I'm going to stop dismissing their arguments and being petty and address the arguments and stop calling the names. You know, like I talked about that with the whole death threat shit. I got to look at my rhetoric, and the retard word or the fucktard word is definitely some of the rhetoric that I'm looking at right now.
Doc Fearsome has a good way of pointing it here. So they say that. So how I use it is like something retards something's progress, but I won't call
that. It holds it back.
So, yes, and that's a way that we will use that.
Reese says, "I'm sorry, I offended the horse guy."
Wilbur.
Well, John, do you own horses? Is that your horse?
That's a horse that lives up the street from me on a neighbor's
property. Okay. I was just curious because I personally,
and it's just
I do own horses,
and me and that horse are rather close, if you know what I mean.
Okay, Mr. Hands.
Okay.
Not too close. You know what they're saying about atheists now.
Exactly. That's what I do want to call back to
that. But I just asked because, like I said, I have 3 of them myself.
That would be awesome to own horses.
My uncle had a horse farm. I love horses.
It's fun. I love the shit out of my horses. It's a lot of work. It really is.
We never had to do all the work. We just went to my uncle's house and it's like, let's go ride horses.
Reese said phrasing at the exact point where you say, "I love the shit out of my horses." I'm like, yeah, I get it too.
Yeah. Well, hey, get your minds out of the gutters, guys.
Always in the fucking gutter.
It's the raging atheist. We are in the gutter right now.
But no, I do love my horses. It's just they are a lot of work. We have to, like for instance, right now we're down to 1 vehicle, so I told my bosses I have to work nights until we get a second one up and going again.
So frustrating. Not to get off point, but are you going to go to Faithless Forum?
I'm going to do my hardest to try to go. The only thing is that I have to be able to find a way to tell work without them thinking that I'm doing this for personal things, like for just my own leisure time, because I don't have time saved up as far as vacation time goes. So, or time off goes, period. So I have to, I'm going to try to do my best to go, but if I can't, I can't.
Okay, see, hopefully you go. Like, I really wish I could go, dude. I really wish I could go.
Hey, by the way, Frustrated said he loves his horse. I would just recommend everybody do not Google loving my horse.
Yes, do not do that. You will come across some videos that you don't want to see. Or maybe you do, man. I'm not going to kink shame you. But
some people get shit, man. I remember my brother knows that I don't like seeing like disturbing things. Like, so he would like,
the wrong guy.
Yeah. Oh man, he would bring me over and he's like, "Ronnie, come check this out. This is fucking awesome." And I come over there and it's like a dude fucking a chicken. I'm like, "Why are you watching this shit, dude?" And he's like, "I'm fucking with you, man." I'm like, "Oh my!" It was. I'll never get it out of my head ever.
Did you ever see two girls? Did you ever see 2 girls in a cup?
I saw that in fucking high school.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's obviously fake as hell.
No, it's not.
Oh, that is definitely some chocolate ice cream.
No.
Go watch
definitely.
Go watch the BME Pain Olympics. That's a good one.
So what happened with me as I was in health class. I was in health class of all classes. When the guy sitting behind me, I had a couple classes with him. He's like, "Hey, dude, check this out." And he hands me his phone, and I'm looking at it, and I see these two gorgeous-looking women with pretty nice tits, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome." And then I see this cup, and I'm like,
the weirdest thing people do.
Yeah.
but I see this cup, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm not sure what this has to do." And then, I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "Get that shit away from me now!"
Go back and rewatch it if you can stomach it again. But just rewatch it, and then just think of a chocolate sundae and how ice cream pours. And you can see.
No, I'm not watching that again.
It is obviously photoshopped. It's not real shit.
Dude,
it's not.
You do realize that there are people who do like.
Oh yeah, but 2 girls, 1 cup was fake. It was fake. But yeah, people do. I mean,
it's not fake. Glass ass. Go look that one up.
Yeah. Also, it's not fake. Getting a Cleveland steamer.
The last time somebody told me to look something up, it was Ocean, and he told me to look up bronies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what to think.
No, it's not around anymore, but Equestria After Dark was a place I'd send a lot of people to sometimes, just for the hell of it. Because,
I said,
people think, oh, the Raging Atheist, he could take it. No, I probably can't.
Yeah, okay, so Raging Glass Ass is a guy taking a mason jar up the backside.
Oh.
And so as he's taking it up, he didn't realize that the tension that his asshole is creating over this mason jar.
Oh God, no!
Causes it to break.
No.
Oh.
And blood starts pouring out, and so it's real disturbing.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it, but I mean, he deserves it.
Well, the thing is, like, his family was in the other room, and he didn't want them to know what kind of shit he was up to, so he had to just like be completely quiet about the fact that he was bleeding out his asshole.
And I shouldn't say that because he doesn't deserve it. I mean,
he doesn't deserve the shame or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like, Jesus Christ, man, that's gotta hurt.
And they actually put it on YouTube.
Yeah, he was. Yes, Gavity says, yeah, he was pulling pieces of glass out of his ass.
Oh my God!
Yeah. There's a woman who died by what she was doing was she was a young gal. And she decided to masturbate with a broom handle, and her parents came home rather sooner than she thought, and so she quickly goes to jump off the surface she was on. I think it was a counter, and it went straight up into her.
Like, man,
it gets dangerous.
People do some crazy shit, man.
Well, and I joked to it earlier, but there's a guy that 4chan helped make famous on the internet, and this is back in my shitlord days, where his name was Mr. Hands, where it was a guy that was in a horse stable and he was taking it all up the backside because he enjoyed that kind of thing, but at the same time it perforated his colon, and so he died of that. So
yeah,
wow.
That's
wow.
I don't understand how people can do that.
I mean, wow, crap! People like, yeah,
people have their kinks. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I think I have some weird kinks, but my idea of a weird kink is probably like nothing like that. Like, holy shit!
High risk, high reward.
Nakasuchi says he doesn't mind a finger up the butt.
That's vanilla.
Honestly, I don't. But man, that's like, we had this friend. And he was the friend that everybody went to because he had the cool mom, right? So we could smoke weed, we could drink, we could do whatever we wanted. And she was a nurse, and she would often come back with these stories of people putting shit up their ass. Men, women, everybody does it. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I've never, not even when I was in jail, did I try to put some weed up my ass? It's not my thing, but I don't mind a finger up the ass. Definitely.
There was a trend a while ago where college kids were doing vodka enemas.
Yeah. Well, do you know why?
Because it
gets you, fucks you up like right now.
Yeah, it's the same. People, when we were kids, our big thing was acid, and yeah, people would put acid in their asshole because it just hit like immediately, fucking immediately.
Yeah, because what happens is in your rectum there, you actually have it gets through the bloodstream a lot quicker due to the fact that it's not having to go through the digestive process.
Yep.
I just want to say, only on the Raging Atheist do we have Exxon, and we're going to be talking about colons bursting.
I did not expect butt chugging to be mentioned.
we cover it all here, man. We cover it all.
It's been a wide-ranging discussion.
That's what I was about to say. Given enough time, I'll go back to butt stuff every once in a while. So,
Jim with one in also says, or tampons soaked in vodka.
Ugh.
Wow, is that a thing?
Yeah, I've heard.
Does it work?
That just doesn't sound sanitary.
Well, I mean, it's alcohol, so I mean, it'll kill whatever's in there anyway. So,
like, wouldn't that sting? I don't know. I don't have a vagina.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's like having an open wound. I think it's
yeah. I could be disassociating.
Okay. Here's a good way of putting it. When you get alcohol on your glands, it doesn't feel like a sting. So probably the same way. So
well, here's the question though: if your vagina is drunk, can you consent?
No.
Yeah, I think it's a no.
How many theists are capturing this right now? Not enough. Hey, Matt.
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, I am totally shocked that Matt Powell hasn't been up in this chat. Like, I think I've been blacklisted. I really do. I think Matt's not allowed to associate with me anymore. He didn't answer. I have been like, he was supposed to come on last week and talk about his death threats, which I call bullshit on. The more I think about it, just bullshit. But he hasn't even like replied back. Like, let's do this thing. He has completely cut it off.
So when you say Matt Powell's death threats, you mean the death threats that he makes to other people, right?
No, he's claiming it. Like, I got a call last week that he got death threats from somebody using my name, and blah 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 blah. Supposedly it's on one of his videos.
Although I think like Matt Powell's a retard, I will say pretty much anybody with any kind of following gets death threats, so I think it's fair to assume.
It's possible. Like, he says a lot of hate, but just the fact that it was a guy using my name is like the Raging Atheist 666 or some shit like that. Like, I don't know. And the fact that he didn't come on and talk about it like he agreed to, it just tells me like, nah, I don't want to believe it now.
I mean, he's also known for stretching the truth, so he might have went, well, I got death threats, but what if I just said it was from somebody carrying your name?
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that he's gotten death threats.
Yeah, he's known for stretching the truth with his deconversion story happening in a locker room.
Yeah,
I mean, I've called that.
Well, and he probably considers, like, somebody probably said to him, well, no, Matt, when you die, you die. There is no heaven. He probably thought that was a death threat.
Yeah, it was funny because during he was on, I forgot whose channel it was, but he was on there talking about his deconversion and how he was an atheist at the age of 7. And I found it funny because and Godless Iowan actually perfectly worded it in the chat. He goes, at the age of 7, I just sat there and looked around and be like, you know what? I don't think there's a God.
When I was 7, I was sitting in my room playing with Transformers.
Well, yeah, and he often says he was an atheist from the age of 7 to 12. But then you go look at another video he just put up recently on his video talking shit about one of the pastors of the churches he went to when he was 12. So I'm like, I just call bullshit on it all. Like, no, you was deeply raised, fundamental. I've met his dad. I've met the guy's dad. His dad is just as fundamental as he is, and his dad is one of the fucking psychophants that follows this kid around. It is not a dad. Too. Yeah, it's not a dad-father relationship. Yeah. Like, Matt Powell is the boss, and the dad follows Matt.
Yeah, well, you got to think that you have Stephen Anderson, who is the Pope, if you will, of the NIFB, and then you have and like 10 years ago, he actually had he was talking about how there was going to be a shift in the IFB where a bunch of people were going to branch off, and in this new IFB there was going to be a lot more younger people. And so whenever Steven Anderson made the shift into the new IFB, he purposely brings out all these young people to be pastors.
And it's one of the reasons why sorry to interrupt, but it's one of the reasons why Anderson promotes the Quiverful movement, because he wants his parishioners having as many children as they possibly can to spread the movement.
Well,
more
you
people
rope them in young. You know?
Yep.
And with this being going on, Matt Powell, let's face it, if there's one word to describe Matt Powell within his movement, it would be charismatic. He is definitely charismatic among his movement. And he's
a charismatic kid. He is. I mean, you meet him in real life and you want to like the guy until you see him with other people. You know, I've often said that, like one-on-one Matt Powell, I liked him. I went easy on him because I liked him. But once I got around, like, and he had, for the movie, he had all these people around him, and he was like, I got to see the real Matt Powell, and I was like, I can't like this guy. I mean, and then his rhetoric changed to the faggots and the homos and all that shit, because he didn't used to talk like that. That's recent.
No, that's been going on for a bit, because if you listen to Gonna Go For It, there was I was going to, this was around the time I was going to have Matt on the show. They talked with me on side chat on through DMs on Twitter, and he was talking about how you guys aren't homos, aren't you? And so it's just like,
he would use that word, but like in our first conversation, it seemed like he was using the word. Maybe he was just being respectful to me, but he was like homosexuals, like, but he would say it in a way that was like, you know, those scary homosexuals types, you know, and then it seemed like just an aggression, you know, a progressive point to where now it's like every time he's in the chat is faggot. I'm like, damn, Matt, do you not know any other words? You know, like it's all they say now. Like it's crazy.
But my original point where I was going at was that because
sorry, man,
because he is now classified within the group as kind of a leader. That's why his dad follows everything he says, because he is the leader and you don't, go against the leader. That's why his dad is just completely up his son's own ass, and he's just doing, pretty much whatever his son says and does, because his son is seen as a leader.
The leader of what?
Silence.
I was trying to think of how I can make a joke where like sports parents and their kids become the athletes, and they did something that they could never do in their life, and
they live vicariously through them.
His father sits in the front pew and cheers him on.
Yes,
that's right, son.
That is a cheer.
No, Matt, yay!
Have you guys ever seen his old videos of the basketball shit on his channel? I don't know if he still has it. I called him out hardcore for that shit, dude. It was hilarious to me. Like, why do you got these highlights on your damn Christian channel?
Yeah, I don't understand people that I had a comments from trolls a couple of weeks ago where somebody was coming after us with like both barrels of shit, and I'm like, okay, well, they don't realize that I can see who they are and I can go see what they have on their channel. And there's a lot of times people will have like videos of their family and stuff that they did, along with the names of the people in their family and like where they are in town and stuff. And I'm like, Jesus, man, like if you did that, it's like flipping somebody off on the road.
Yeah.
Like for the most part, you're going to be fine for the most part, but you'll get the one guy one time where you flip him off and he'll chase you down, kind of thing. It's like,
I used to be that guy.
If you come after the wrong channel on YouTube, and I'm not this kind of person because it's too much fucking work, but somebody like do the whole Jay and Silent Bob thing where you come up with the list of the person's like, are you so-and-so from this town? And then like show up at their door and beat the shit out of them because they left you a mean comment, kind of thing. It's like, there are people, if they had infinite funds, they would do that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
You talk about the road rage type of thing. Is I had a dude who literally, what happened was I was going through a turn, but I was looking to see if anybody was coming. And the guy behind me was apparently in a rush, and he lays on the horn. And as soon as he gets up near me, I flip him off. And he was like, why don't you pull over? I'll show you, man, blah, blah, blah. And I just laughed at his ass. I just laughed at him. He was like, that's what I fucking thought. And I'm like, I was like, you don't scare me. Your mild threats don't scare me.
I was that asshole in North Carolina, dude. I remember a story. I was riding. I was in a carload of friends. My younger brother was in there, so he had a couple of his friends. We had a couple of our friends. I'm in the front seat. I'm high as hell. We're driving down the road, and we pass these two dudes walking along the side of the road, and one of the guys just flips us off. And I'm like, stop the car. And he stops the car, and I get out, and I go, and I cuss this motherfucker out, and I get back in the car, and they're like, dude, that was my friend. He was just saying what's up.
You talk about the YouTube, saying something stupid in YouTube comments and having somebody come after you. Just imagine if you're a flat earther with a channel and you falsely copyright strike somebody and then talk about it ad nauseum on your channel.
I have not.
And then that person, Team Skeptic, makes you eat that shit.
I love watching it. And I've stayed away from flat earthers because they trigger me. And Darth Dawkins triggered me, and it makes me look bad. But like this Nathan dude, I don't know if anybody knows who I'm talking about.
Nathan Oakley.
Yeah, I fucking hate this guy. I don't like this. I want to just go at this guy.
I got somebody for you to look up. Tyler Doka of the Great Harvest Baptist Church.
All right, let me write that down.
Look up him because DOKA is the name. Tyler Doka, Great Harvest Baptist Church. Matt Powell and Guzman were going after him for being a denier of round Earth, and they were also going after him for not believing in the fossil record. So it's funny to me to see Christians just eating each other up over this whole thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
so Matt Powell was going after him for not believing in the fossil record.
Yeah, like Guzman's like, we have fossil records and it exists, and it's like it's because dinosaurs existed at this time. And Tyler Doka's like, no, the dinosaurs were put here as a sign of Satan to get people off their beliefs and stuff. And it's just it's hilarious because he has a whole series on flat Earth stuff, and I went over a couple of them, and I'm just like, there's only so much you can do with that shit for a while before you're like, you know what, I'm done. I can't.
Yeah.
For anybody who hasn't seen it yet, go onto Netflix and watch Behind the Curve. You will watch Jaronism and Bob of Globebusters prove the heliocentric model.
Is that the one where they do the laser experiment and they have to shoot?
And at the end, Jaron's like, huh,
so,
that's interesting.
No, that's not even it. That's not even it. That was Jaronism proving the curvature. But what happened was Bob from Globebusters had actually been given a $20,000 laser gyroscope. And this was to prove, because for
Godless
those
Engineer
know,
did something on this one. I saw that video. So.
Yeah, but for those who don't know, with the laser gyroscope, what happens is with the rotation of the Earth, every hour, the angle, the degrees, is at a 15
degrees
degree per hour.
Yeah, because to help the people with the math, 360 degrees divided by 24 hours is 15 degrees.
Yeah,
so.
And so the laser gyroscope, if this is their spiel, they said that if the Earth is flat and motionless, then the laser gyroscope will not pick up anything. Whereas if it is in motion, it's going to pick up the 15-degree hour rotation. And they did it, and it picked up the 15-degree rotation. So they said, okay, well, it's probably because they're like, that's not right. It's probably the heavens energy hitting this. So we're going to put this in in some kind of cylinder thing, and it's going to block the heavenly energies from hitting it. When they did that, it still picked up the 15-degree rotation. And the next thing they were going to do was putting it in a cylinder of bismuth. And so he flat out said that this isn't what we are expecting, so we can't agree with it.
Yeah, that's some science right there.
Thank you for that headache after describing that.
Yes. So go watch Behind the Curve. It mainly has to do with what the fuck is his name? The big rock star of it.
I know who you're talking about. I've done a couple of his things.
Mark Sargent.
Mark Sargent.
Yes, Mark Sargent. It's mainly about him and his journey to Flat Earth and the Flat Earth conference that had recently happened.
What does it say? What does it say about humanity that there even had to be a movie beyond the curve or behind the curve?
Yeah. I'm like, do these people all think like NASA is just some giant conspiracy theory? Like, haven't we had?
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
it's just phenomenal. Like, we've had satellites go out and look back and see the circle.
Nakatsuchi, their whole entire thing is because the people who do the photographs of Earth from the satellite, is that the way that happens is that this drone, it takes pictures every so often all around the globe, and they have to composite it together because the Earth is just so big. There's no way it's going to fit in one photo.
No, frustrated. There are satellites out that are so far out.
Yeah,
they take full pictures of.
We have that famous Carl Sagan, the blue dot. You know, like
the blue marble.
Like
yes, no, the blue marble is a composite.
Just a mote of dust suspended on sunlight. You know.
Well, yeah, but but weren't we able to see the planet like closer than that though? Like, and not just that. Like, just get a fucking telescope and look up into the stars. You see round planets. You don't see a single flat fucking planet anywhere. Like,
it's because you're looking right at the disc there, Raging.
I must be seeing it from the wrong angle.
No. But the thing is the reason, their whole entire reason behind denying all of the drones that take pictures is because of the blue marble that is really famous was done by composite. And the guy said, the guy who helped compile these together to make the Earth, he said it's fake, or that it is fake because it has to be, but they took it completely out of context because he was saying that when this went up, it took so many pictures and we had to composite it together to make it one globe. Otherwise, you're going to have a big, humongous thing full of multiple pictures. And so they had to composite it together. And because of that, that's where they get all photos from space are fake.
The thing for me has always been, all right, that kills the whole flat Earth argument. How is it that at different times of the year, there are different lengths of daylight during the day at different spots on the planet? That can't happen on a flat Earth.
Hey, no. Hey, listen, John.
You forgot about their strongest argument.
I literally had a flat earther tell me. I showed this flat earther a video of 24-hour sunlight in Antarctica.
And the sun dipping up and down and going, never quite set.
And they said that it was CGI'd because you don't really ever see the sun at certain parts because of the clouds that are in front of it. This was their reasoning, was because he's like, no, that's CGI.
Yeah, Soccer Count has it right in the chat here. The answer is always magic.
Well, here's what's the apologetic for this then? Okay, they say nothing ever goes over the curve. It just goes so far away that you can bring it back with a telescope. Well, if that's true, then why can't you go to the southern tip of any continent and get a picture of the ice wall with a telescopic lens? We should have the whole ice wall mapped out. Yeah, because
of the reason.
Now, Jen with one end had a good thing there, and I'm probably going to make this my denouement because I got to take off here in a second. She says, "For fuck's sake, there's satellites around the sun." Jen, that's called Earth, Venus, Mercury. No, I'm just having fun with you. Yeah, there are satellites that do go around the sun. I just find it funny that people forget the colloquialism that where Earth is technically a satellite of the sun. Yeah. So,
but hell, there was a man-made satellite that had just recently taken pictures of Jupiter before it left Jupiter's orbit.
Yeah, to me, like, for a flat earther, it's an automatic dismissal for me. Like, all right, I liked B.O.B. back in the day. Like, I thought his music was awesome. Like, cool, man, new rapper, great shit. Then I found out he's a flat earther, and I'm like, fuck, I can't even listen to this guy anymore. You know, I can't even listen to this dude's music anymore.
Hey, Raging Frustrated, everybody else, it's been a really good time. I got to take off. I got to go to bed. I got to do a show tomorrow.
Hey, I appreciate you coming next, man. It was enjoyable. I appreciate it.
No, always fun. Just send me a heads up next time you're going to do something like this, and I'll see if I can join you again.
Awesome. So. Yeah, man. Anytime, dude. Thanks a lot.
All right. Night, folks. Night, everybody in chat. Been good hanging out with you guys. We'll see you.
Nice meeting you, man.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, dude. I've been watching his channel, and I've been just impressed with all three of them and their work. And just to come on my channel out of the blue like this, man, is a really awesome thing. Sorry, Athena. I think I have good reasons for not stopping and going to your channel.
Yeah. Is Athena here now?
Well, he was here earlier, and I told him I'll put this out and I'll come over and talk to you if I can. And then X showed up.
I love how they go after the art museum.
Oh yeah, dude! I love that. Their Kinham Ark encounter video is great. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out.
Oh, they've done several about it.
Yeah, if you guys, if anybody in the chat or anybody that's going to watch in the future, if you're not subbed to Utah Outcast, I highly recommend that you sub to their channel. Great channel, great conversation, interesting people. Can't ask for anything more.
Yeah.
And for Felicia alone,
I don't.
Very beautiful young woman. But I like X, but I like it when Kyle's got his makeup on. I find Kyle to be on point. So I don't. When Kyle has his makeup on, I think Kyle might be. I like his makeup. I like
You're stuttering there a little bit, Raging. What are you trying to say, buddy?
Well, I don't know. Like I think it takes courage. Kyle's being Kyle, and I just really dig that. It's a cool show, man. I recommend everybody checking it out. I never even knew about it until somebody recommended the video that he just made about Matt Powell. Using the homosexual slurs against him. I found him then, and I every single day I'm at their channel trying to check out their new videos. Great shit, and I'm trying to check out their old videos too. I just don't have much time.
Yeah, I hate to bring it back to the flat Earth, but one of the things I hated about Beyond the Curve is that there's this one girl who who is a flat earther who believes in a bunch of other conspiracies that actually lives here in Houston. And Mark Sargent came from Washington State to Houston, and they went to NASA Space Center together. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I didn't go to the NASA Space Center when they were there. They actually went into this one hangar that had a shell thing in it, and the redhead was videotaping as she yelled, "The Earth is flat!" And I was like, oh no, please don't.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with flat Earth theory. I have been watching more of the Flatter Day Night fights. I'm really impressed with Fight the Flat Earth. Really like that guy. So I'm just now learning about this whole flat Earth shit. And who is Debbie Duran? I'm not sure who that is.
She's a flat earther. She's a flat earther that is aggravating.
I'll interview anybody.
Okay. No. But the thing, no.
Check it out. Raging. You've got to look up on YouTube Debbie Durant calling customer service.
Why does that sound familiar?
Oh my God.
She called like MasterCard customer service or something like that, and went on this flat Earth rant.
Yeah,
as it was just it's classic idiocy.
She does. I don't know if she actually had a reason to call, but she ends up talking about the Earth, and she's like, it's flat, right? And she's like, because we don't ever see a curvature and yada yada, and she goes off, and I'm like, all I can think of is if I was in the customer service representative's shoes, all I would think in my head is, Ma'am, I'm just trying to do my job here. Why are you calling me about this?
Should have just hung up the phone.
Yeah, I had my mother was really bad on customer service people. I felt bad for them. Like, if you could feel bad for customer service people, if you heard my mother speak to them, you'd feel bad for them. Like she'd be vicious.
My ex-wife.
I was going to say now, you know, when you call customer service, you're lucky if you get someone you can even understand,
or a human at all.
Yeah, it's usually a robot nowadays.
My ex-wife was the type of woman that if someone messed up something, she would complain and complain and complain at the person. And then at the end, she was definitely the Karen of the world, where at the end, she would sit there and say, well, I know it's not your fault, sweetie. It's someone else's fault. But it's like, you just spent like fucking 5 minutes bitching this person out just to end it with saying, I know it's not your fault. Why the fuck did you spend 5 minutes bitching them out?
Yeah, that was my mom, dude. I'd totally be like, you just wasted like 3 hours of your fucking day.
I'll be right back.
Oh, man. Good conversation, guys. Yeah, just pointing it out. I am smoking weed. It's been a long conversation, but it's Michigan.
There we go.
We lost frustrated.
That's some good stuff right there. None of that cigarette crap.
Yeah, man, I'm behind on quitting cigs like I said I was going to, and it's because I'm a weak-minded person.
I noticed that you're using the I can't even remember the Robert Blake method. You like hold on to the cigarette and everything, but you don't light it.
Yeah, I try to. I smoke a lot more when I'm talking and I'm doing these live conversations. So yeah, I really try to hold on to it and not smoke as much. Try to make it last, because I'll sit here and smoke a whole damn pack of cigarettes and wake up tomorrow with my lungs just like exploding. Because I usually, like, if I'm just chilling doing my edited videos, I don't really smoke that much. But if I'm talking, having a good time, you know, it's crazy.
So what time is that that one-on-one with you tomorrow?
Tomorrow is going to be 5 p.m. With one-on-one with Messenger Reveals. We can go like 2 or 3 hours. I'll probably want to take a break. I'm really hoping that at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, that Christian blogger is going to come on. I wanted to get a couple specific people to talk to him, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to come on or not. And now I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time to get the people I wanted to talk. So hopefully that'll still happen. But if not, like he's very busy, so it might not. And he's like 3 hours behind me, so 5 o'clock in the afternoon for him might be a little too early. So we'll see if that happens. If not, then at 8 o'clock I'm also going to have another one of these, to where I bring in people. And I still really haven't seen much. I'll have to go back through the chat and see what people said about the whole making response videos thing. Because I'm thinking I'm going to veer away from it. Of course, there'll always be girl defined, and probably MMA Jenkins. I don't think I can get away from MMA.
If I join in on that tomorrow, it might be a little more interesting for me to be there, because I'm gonna partake of the sticky of the icky later today.
Yeah, I never run out anymore. I love Michigan right now.
So 5 o'clock tomorrow, and then 3:30 on Sunday. You're gonna be with the Jesus.
Yes.
Lord, dude.
Yeah, I try to get it to be a little earlier. It doesn't sound like he's trying to compromise on that. Probably because he does the whole church thing. So,
Nakasuchi, as much as I love you and I hate Jill, can't be here Sunday, because that's my big day.
Oh, that's your big date day?
Yeah.
I don't think I can blame you.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, Knock.
All right.
What's the law of excluded middle? Have you figured that out yet?
Yeah, I have. I've been studying it. I do agree with it to a point. I do agree with also a lot of things that people have been saying, how it doesn't apply to the argument Dawkins put forward. And Steve from Non Sequitur sent me some links today that I'm going to be really watching. But yeah, I get what he's saying, that it's either is or it is not a thing. And my argument should have been not fuck the law of excluded middle, but prove that it's Yahweh and not, Allah. That should have been the argument.
Yeah, I mean, it's real simple. It's what it is. It's a dichotomy, okay? Like, if you say you're talking about me, it's either me or it's not me. And anything that isn't me is not me. So it can only be me or not me. Same thing like what he was saying. It's a dichotomy. There's only two choices. It's either God or not God. And anything that isn't God goes in the category of not God.
And that's where my argument went wrong, and he was able to win that argument, is I should have he just pissed. Like, I have this really bad thing with pre-subs, and it grates me and it gets me aggravated, and then I lose the conversation. So yeah, I should have totally agreed with this premise and then made him prove how it was his God as opposed to like Thor, or somebody cool.
All right, guys, I'm gonna take off.
Yeah, we are going to be
ending this.
We've been going a lot longer. I appreciate you coming in frustrated.
Oh yeah, no problem.
As always, a good time, my friend.
Oh yeah, I love talking with you guys.
Yeah, anytime. If you see me on and you want to come in, just let me know. Sometimes you have to do it several times, but I'll eventually see it and I'll bring you in.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right, talk to you
later,
man.
Frustrated.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably dip out too, man.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate that pipeline audio. I do think I did. Like, I was able to make that dude mad, and I was able to get him off his script. I just anytime that somebody's gonna say that the laws of logic, fuck the laws of logic, then yeah, you lose that argument. Like, I lost that argument, but I think I won the war with him because I showed him who I was.
Are you familiar with Pine Creek?
I don't think so.
All one word, Pine Creek. Okay, and go look at his channel. That's the name of the channel. And look for the video where he encounters Darth Dawkins. He handled Darth Dawkins the best that I've ever seen anybody handle him. And you could tell that Darth Dawkins, for whatever reason, seemed to have a certain respect for Pine Creek. But Pine Creek was able to flip the script on him, and he got to ask Darth Dawkins a series of questions.
Yeah, and that's what I tried to do in my second conversation with him. Is I really wanted to ask him questions, and he just wouldn't allow that to happen.
All right, guys, good night, and I'll be watching tomorrow, Raging.
Yep. Hopefully it'll be starting soon, or it'll definitely be starting at 5. Hopefully I'll have an earlier conversation. We'll see if that actually works out.
All right, man. Nice seeing you again, John.
Hey, yep. See you later, John.
Later.
Yeah, I am going to be getting off here, guys. I told myself a couple hours, and it's been pushing 3. Wujita, as always, my man. It's great having you on. Glad you got to come on and talk to X. First time having X on the channel. I'm pretty stoked about that shit.
Yeah.
This thing is getting bigger, man. We're getting noticed. Like I said, Steve gave me some good links to take down Darth Dawkins. I think I'm going to invite Darth Dawkins in again for a third conversation. I'm going to try not to lose my shit, and it's just going to be me and Darth, and that I think that'll be a better conversation. Now that I know who Darth is, it'll be fun.
It might help to just take some time out of your life to just watch people make the precept argument until you're numb to it. Then you won't get aggravated.
Yeah, and I'm going to be doing that too. And like I said, Steve gave me some links. Other people's giving me some links. So I'm going to really be checking that out. Guys, if you didn't catch the beginning of the show, I did announce Tuesday night, Skyler Fiction, Digital Hammurabi will be joining me at 8 p.m. Eastern for an interesting conversation. So make sure you don't miss that one. That's going to be a really good conversation. But I am going to get out of here and finish smoking this bowl and try to go to sleep. I want to try to get good sleep during nighttime tonight. We'll see if it actually happens. I'll probably end up making videos until 6 in the morning. So, what do you think? Before we go, Vegeta, are you familiar with the Godless Cranium situation?
Nope.
So Godless Craniums channel was recently demonetized across the board, the entire channel, pretty much for making fair use response videos. And now I'm freaking out, and I'm thinking I gotta evolve away from response videos. What would you say to that?
I'd say if you're gonna evolve, go ahead. I like your stuff, just do it. But it's unfortunate that that has to be a factor.
Yeah. I think YouTube is destroying themselves. I really do. And it seems to just be getting worse and worse. I'm not for deplatforming anybody unless they're inciting violence. And like I told X, I'm on both sides of the non sequitur argument when it comes to JF and platforming him. I think we should platform these people. We should point the finger and say that's hatred and show our disdain. So I'm really mixed on that argument. But I definitely don't want to get demonetized for making girl-defined videos.
I personally think that John Francois should be in jail.
So do I. I think he's atrocious.
But that's just me.
Fucking hate his accent. I think his accent is ridiculous.
it just makes it worse.
Yeah, I've heard plenty of Canadian dudes that I'm like, nice accent, bro. Not with JF. JF's accent sounds fucking stupid. And I'm sure some people can pull it off, but he can't.
JF is just, it makes me sad. And what makes it worse is back in the day of the Drunken Peasants, I thought he was cool until I found out all the fucked up shit he was doing.
See, I never even seen him on the Drunken Peasants. Like, I'm so behind. Like, I insulated myself too much for so long that now I'm finding out about all these people, and I'm like, fuck, where the fuck have I been? And yes, Soccer Count, Skyler's good people. Soccer Count wanted to come in, but we've been on for a while. So tomorrow, Soccer Count, I'm hoping to have at 8 o'clock, hopefully, if that Christian vlogger and a couple people I have in mind come in, I want to probably the first hour or so relegate it to just us, and then I'm going to have people come in. So if you want to come in tomorrow, I'll make sure to email me, and then I will get you the link to tomorrow's hangout tomorrow evening. My boy Wajida here without his fro.
Yes.
Always good having you on, Wajida. I am going to get out of here and finish smoking this bowl. Maybe I'll clean for a while and go to bed. I need to clean. I always need to clean.
I gotta be up at like 6 hours anyway.
Oh, yeah. You need to well, you're young. You can handle it. I'm old. I got to have 8 hours. If I don't have 8 hours, then I'm like the evilest motherfucker you've ever met. I admit it, though. All right, guys. I appreciate all the views. I appreciate hopefully you guys enjoyed X coming up in here. I think I've made another friend. I really enjoy those people. Sub to their channel if you haven't subbed to their channel. Sub to Wujida's channel if you haven't subbed to Wujida's channel. I will see you guys soon. All right, peace out, Paul.
All right, see ya.